can't do posters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Initiative Order, the Chalice, Twilight Roads, and all those other wonderful things. We are coming to you live from the Seventh Circle of Hell, also known as England at this point in time, where the roads are melting, the pigeons are on fire, and no one's really sure what's going on anymore. So we are back after a couple of weeks hiatus, so I do apologize for that. One of them was definitively my fault. The other one, I think we were on a break. I don't know. It's been a very long time and the world's gone to hell. So we're just going to continue on as if it isn't. Now, before we go on to meet everyone, and I do my absolute best to not berate anyone, I'm going to make it a personal challenge for the next 20 minutes to not insult any member of this group. I'm going to try.
Not the whole thing, just 20 minutes.
Just 20
timer. 20 minutes
I know
is
my
good for him,
limits,
though.
Max.
20 minutes is impressive for Ben.
If you can go 20 minutes, that's great.
I don't need a timer. It's exactly 8:10.
All right, fair.
It's great. So before we do that, we're going to go off and have a little bit of a chat about our wonderful, wonderful sponsors. As always, we've got Session Zero Clothing, Norse Foundry, Mithril Armory, and Umbral Oculus Dice coming to us. Jago, dice. You like dice, don't you?
I have shinies.
Has he got them?
Did you get new dice?
Did you get him?
Yeah.
I got shinies.
You did?
Shinies.
Hey!
Fueling his addiction.
Finally.
Avoid
There's just
void,
the
was that?
D20s. There's a variety. There's like one from everybody, and I bought a second set from somebody I forget. But please go to all our lovely sponsors. I'm very happy with these, and I'll roll's good. Yes. Yeah, no, those are all numbers I like. Those are all numbers I like.
Good.
We rolls with this. We rolls with this.
So if you, like Jago, wish to have more dice, all of the dice, every dice you could ever come up with, so many dice that you move the sofa and more dice appear, then you can head on over to Norse Foundry.
That does happen.
It does happen. At the moment, my cat steals them and hides them from me. I'm not even remotely joking.
Don't have cats.
Head on over to
I just have too many
Foundry,
dice.
who are artisan dice makers. Have made some of the lovely dice Jago is running around with. And you can use the code TIO15 at checkout there for 15% off. Then you can go on over to Mithril Armory, and you can pick up some tin D20s, some sketch dice, and all sorts of other fancy stuff. And you can use the code Initiative there for 10% off. And last but not least, because you are doing these all in the same hour, that's what we're telling you to do. You can go and get yourself some handmade custom dice by the Initiative Order's very own Taryn at Umbral Oculus Dice, and you can use the code Initiative for 10% off a full set of dice from her. Now, if you like your nerdy signs to be a little bit more wearable, you can also wander over to Session Zero Clothing. Give them some of your wonderful hard-earned money to walk around with some clothes so everyone knows, like us, you are a horrible shut-in. I may just be talking about myself at this point, however. But you really, really like to demonstrate your hobbies on your person. Like I, for example, am wearing a lovely shirt, not from them, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore because it's not as good. So head on over to Session Zero Clothing and buy theirs instead. And on that point, on things that are, strictly better than anything I am, I'm going to turn on to all of our wonderful players here.
Was that a compliment from Ben?
I know.
God.
Wonderful,
I was so prepared for something bad. I was going to say it's only
You may
13
actually
past,
start
but
crying.
I'm proud of you, man.
It's like saying,
Someone's getting
getting a well done from Dad.
Break it down.
You know what
I've
this
never
means?
ful more proud.
Somebody's dying.
Yeah.
Somebody's
That's
gonna
not it.
die.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
Bagsy, not it. I've already died so many times.
Well, let's start with who I've known for the longest out of this group, and that'd be Lynn.
Who?
You.
Hi, I've known Ben the longest out of everyone here.
Poor person.
I know. Help. I play Cecily, who is an alchemist who generally likes to patch people back together and make weird things. I'm not very good at much else. Yeah. I really need to think of an intro because I'm not very good at them.
I thought it was good.
You are
That was good.
on
That was
Twitch
great.
longer than any others here. I think you do it more combined than the rest of us.
On my own stream, I'm like, "Hi, welcome to the stream. Let's do some art," and I can't really do that here.
Oh,
Hi,
boy.
welcome to the stream. We're all gonna die.
Hi, welcome to the stream. Death awaits us.
Look at this
That is
picture I
quite
drew
morbid.
while we were dying.
Yeah, look at this picture I drew.
Not false.
I'm going to move down the list now of people in order of learning to know who they are. And I'm fairly sure that brings me then to Jago.
Yeah, I believe that does. Because I'm fairly sure I introduced. Yeah, I think that's how that works. Okay. Hi, I'm Jago. I finally reclaimed my title as Lord Dice Goblin. Yep, Lord Dice Goblin. I am a lord.
No.
So
I don't know
No,
who gave
I
you the
don't-
lordship.
Yeah, I
think
don't
it's
remember.
No one's
it's still
no
Dice
one's
Goblin.
given you the
stole-
lordship.
Yeah.
I stole it
Yeah.
with my dice.
We'll talk about
I
it.
saw it and I was like, you know
Yeah,
what?
we'll talk about this in the introduction.
Thank you.
Thank you for that insightful TED talk. And now I get onto the awkward bit. I'm trying to remember which one of you I saw first as I walked into, this sounds worse than it is, into the seedy basement of a game store.
No, I remember distinctly. You were wearing
yeah.
a very dark, like suit.
Yeah,
You looked very,
yeah. I think you
very
came
intimidating.
in with a suit, and I think you started off strong.
And you played,
From there it went down, but you
Yeah,
started
the
off
hood
really
blew
strong.
up with
It was like
Hood
you're
and
coming
the
to an
scythe
interview.
was
It was
also
great.
a weird. The hood, the scythe, the skull face. That
Yeah,
also
yeah,
was a
yeah.
bit confusing, but
It's
We work
one of
with
those things. I mean, I'd like to say that my life is a joke, but you know, jokes
It
have
is.
points.
and a funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume I saw, I don't know, probably Max first.
Yeah, fucking yeah, you did. Fuck you, Billy.
I'm gonna flip you off, but I don't know if I'm allowed to do on the stream, so imagine I am.
I think you're allowed to. I think you're allowed to.
That was a bold. Just like yeah, I think you're right.
This is
That's
what
all the go
happens.
Yeah, I
I need.
trust Lynn.
Ben, this is what happens when you don't berate us. We go wild.
It's been
I
too
know,
long.
it's really interesting.
Hi, I'm Max. I play Jules Hope. She is a lovely lady and is kind of like the yin and yang of the group. Like so pure and so nice and is trying to do good, but everyone else are so awful and I just awful.
I wish I could argue against that, but
Yeah.
There you go.
Did punch a man in the face for being slightly in your way.
he had a very punchable face, and we all know it. And
Also a bottle of alcohol.
fuck
Do what I
you.
do. Go for the kneecaps.
I regret nothing.
Kneecaps.
Fair. And then, as you said, naturally, as my eyes initially walked into that room and locked straight onto Max, they did eventually kind of drift across over to Billy, who is now going to introduce himself.
Indeed. Hello, everyone. I'm Billy. I'm playing Subil. I like to think of it as like the twins that argue over who was born first. It's like a second difference, but like, you know, the younger one's just like.
Yeah, but I'm still born first.
I feel like it was
the
more
youngest-
than 5 minutes.
It's better. I get more presents. Let's just go with that. So,
And forgotten.
Yeah, I feel very far away from everyone. Is very close to the camera, and I feel that I'm reclining, and it's. I'm just gonna go with it, you know. So
You look
we'll
too
go
relaxed for
here.
a Ben stream.
Yeah.
I won't. Later on, it's going to be more like a horror movie where. Don't kill me, please! Please, no!
Billy, roll an agility athletics check.
That's all right. We'll see.
It'll just be roll, and you'll just roll off the sofa.
and you'll lose the dice forever.
There we go. And
I'll find it.
to continue with how we started it, last but not least, the most recent person who I have met is Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I play Edlynnne. What can I say about Edlynnne? She thinks she's a good fighter, but proven time and time again that she will get her ass handed to her in the most funny ways. What can I say about me? I'm an angsty goblin who likes to take kneecaps. This is a mood I've been in for the past 4 weeks.
No, we're talking about your character.
Yeah. See, no, Edlynnne isn't an angsty goblin. She just literally wants to kill. No, she doesn't want to kill anybody. I can't describe Edlynnne. She's all I can describe from her. She wants to fight well. She can't fight well. She does need therapy. We all need therapy.
I was going to say, I'm fairly sure that's a pretty ubiquitous term at this point.
But really, you have a woman.
Group discount.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have a woman who just wants to do good, played by a person who really wants to take everybody's kneecaps at the slightest inconvenience. So playing her so much.
It's a good allegory. And last but not least, although technically I've known myself the longest, although do any of us really know ourselves?
How do you really know yourself?
I'm about to say, how do you know yourself?
All I know is that no matter where I go, I do tend to instigate ill intent. And with that is everyone. So we're going to jump on over to this wonderfully, wonderfully scored intro, and we'll see you shortly.
Oh my god, this is going to be chaotic as fuck.
Sleep deprivation.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. If I seem exhausted, it's because I'm counting down the next 7 minutes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Right, well, hopefully everyone enjoyed, again, our wonderful intro. Written, of course, by our very own Holly and put together by the always invisible, but never quite not there, Danny.
He's always watching.
He is always watching. It is
Always
deeply
watching.
scary.
Zowski.
There
we go.
Just trying to brush my teeth in the morning, and I see him in the mirror. I turn around, he's gone.
That is how most meetings at work go. Well, to cast our minds back a whole long 2 weeks, it seems an age now, I am going to ask one of our lucky few to give me a recap of what happened. As always, there's a lovely shiny void point on offer. I'm already going to give one to Jago because he did buy the dice.
Yay!
Well, I'm at max void points now, so you guys go for it.
What's max void
But
points?
in, why don't you?
3.
Three. Oh,
Technically four.
I can't go for it then because I've got 3. Sorry.
I'll try to give it a go.
If you like, I can hold up my notes and someone else can read them.
That's cheating.
Green
Immediately vanish
just
and
cuts them out.
disappear.
I mean, if I was up to speed with updating World Anvil, I could put them on there and someone else could read them.
Oh my god, that's good. That's
I'm about
amazing.
4
I
weeks
will-
behind.
I will give it my best go. However, I have shit memory, so this will probably go downhill very fast. But I'll give it a go.
Only one way to find out, and that's with me pressing the button 20 seconds ago. No, I'm
Say
fine
press
now.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the boat that Kurt and Max and Eli, I want to say the name because they've stolen. Kurt is very badly injured. He's down in like the bottom area with Max and Masked Lady. Cecily goes down, try to see if she can give a helping hand because Cecily is medical. She knows all things medicals. We love Cecily for this. Everybody else is kind of up on the top deck. Jack is going through depresso espresso time, as I like to call it. I am looking at the enemy boat like I am going to kill all of you. I have a slight conversation with Subil with promises of having an even more in-depth conversation at some point because, you know, I have just had my head blown out and I'm still standing. And what else has happened? Cecily assesses Kurt and figures out that he is very badly injured. Fixes his, like, I think his internal injuries. Like, I'm pretty sure like his stomach was ripped open and stuff. Fixes the stomach. Traps a nerve in his arm, so his arm still works, but you know, nervy now. Jules gives Edlynnne her knuckle dusters out of Comrade, and then you find a cool gun which belongs to a woman in a mask. And then I can't remember much else that happens on the boat. We get off the boat, and we're leaving the docks, and then some drunk guy turns up, and one of our members, who you wouldn't expect to punch somebody in the face, punches drunk dude in the face, knocking him out and stealing his beer of all things. Would have been good to steal the gold, but you know. And then we take the body of Kurt, who did insult me, but I'm going to let it slide. We kind of take Kurt in his injured state to a dock which had a red dog on, and I associate that with Clifford the big friendly dog. Anyway, we go to like this little warehouse area, get Kurt settled, and then we end with the drunk guy waking up. I believe his name was Derek. He's talking about how he's going to get his life together, and then a hand comes out of the sea and grabs him and pulls him to his death. I probably missed some stuff, but that's your recap from me.
You didn't miss much.
I remember
did
that.
very well. I don't even think you missed anything, actually.
I do.
You
I
were
do
like,
remember.
15 seconds over, but
Well, you didn't give me countdowns. You just sat there like.
I know, it was being nice. I
Oh,
thought
thank
the
you.
countdown would be more stress, and we don't know.
Yeah.
No one needs more stress in their life, surely.
Because you're
What?
so nice, does that mean that Holly gets the void point?
For half a point, yes.
Oh, that's fine.
Can you get half void points?
Yeah, I've got
Yes,
half void
watch me
point.
do it.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, I have
You
That
give
is
Max
fair.
a
Together,
void.
together, Holly,
genuinely
we
didn't
have
know they were
one
things.
void point.
Yes, Max, we combine our void halfway points.
You get the
I'll
void. You get the
100%
full
allow
void
that.
point every other weekend.
I'll 100% allow you to
Is
both
this a
combine
shared
your
void
void
point?
when needed.
Which one of them
You
gets?
did, okay.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm down
I'm
with
trying
it.
to figure out why Ben's being
I'm
so
cool
nice
with
to
that.
us. Something horrible is going to happen this
Something
episode,
awful's
isn't it?
happening, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
Ben,
gonna
is it going to be a total fake kill by any chance?
Tico incoming.
Would
That's
I?
We need
yes.
some.
Yes.
We need some good vibes for what is
I'm
to come.
going to invent something that just makes me turn invisible so I can't be seen.
I'm going to invent the teleporter in under 3.5 seconds, so I win. Goodbye.
I mean, it's a goal.
And I spend all 3 void points to be immune from Ben's bullshit.
Nothing will make you immune from Ben's.
Searching for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Successful. I've
Run from
climbed
it.
the highest
Hide from
peaks.
it. Wow. At that point, then, we come back to the dark streets of Chalice, down in Saushert, and within a small, fairly large, now long abandoned warehouse. The image of a large red dog still painted over this one side of it, and the red hound company logo still kind of scrawled over the wall, several letters of which have faded and given over time. Many of the windows across the two sections of the building, one fairly small office that hangs to the left-hand side, a single door barred from the interior. Both of the windows have had rocks put through them at one point or another. To the right, you have the larger warehouse itself, easily 40 feet across and twice as deep. What it once held, it's hard to say, as you're led inside quietly with help from Eli, you see very little more than old boxes and crates that have been long since opened and scavenged. Large cobwebs run from the floor up to the ceiling, and just off on the far edge, illuminated by nothing more than the small amount of moonlight that's cutting in from the rafters and the ceiling above you that is given to age, rust, and decay, leaving these long slits of moonlight running across the base. You see a small stairwell leading up to a kind of 20 foot by 20 foot room that sits up in the upper right-hand corner of the building. Windows run along its edge, and a single large door kind of sits at the apex of the stairs. Beneath it, you can see hanging chains and the ropes of a pulley system that lead a small lift from the ground level up into that same room. You are all led into this large warehouse, having come in through the smaller door on the left-hand side building, which has been closed and barred again behind you by Lottie. You make your way in, your every footstep ringing in the air as they echo around. And you see here kind of the low swinging of the chains, the echoes of your own footsteps, and you are led over towards the stairs, and you start going up towards that room up on the second floor. Jules and Edlynnne, you are of course carrying Kurt with you, still on the stretcher, and you kind of reach the bottom of the stairs and come to the natural problem of how to get him up without him just sliding off.
Yeah, kind of over the heads.
Yeah, like I don't mind going over the head, and you just lift it down a little bit further.
Yeah, you could try that, yeah.
You start trying to kind of push him up. It's quite heavy at the end of the day. He is a full-grown man, still in full dress. As you start to do so, Lottie just places a hand on your shoulder and goes, just use the lift.
Fine.
Yeah,
Should have said there's a lift. Why would I know there's a lift? Like, when the fuck have we ever seen a lift?
It's been a long day, Jules. We
Yeah.
just use the lift. Yeah, let's just use the lift.
Who has a lift at a...
As she kind of just takes you to one side and leads you to below this room, or as I say, you can see these pulleys leading down to a single wooden platform. Standing on it and glancing up, you can see that the base of the floor into that room has been taken away, and this portion just kind of comes up and down. As you're walking over there, she just kind of making conversation. From what Kurt's told me, there used to be a cool room where they keep fish and other stock. They use this to kind of, move heavy items in and out without you having to insulate the entire building. They just focused on the one room instead. Didn't work perfectly, of course. She says as you step onto just this rickety wooden platform, and she pulls a small lever protruding up from the ground, and several gears just start turning, wrapping around these ropes that are hanging, and you just very slowly start to rise. Over by the stairs, the rest of you just kind of watch as the four of them, start heading up, and you are led up the stairs by Eli, who swings the door on that second floor open. Shortly, you all kind of come into the same room. As I say, about 20 by 20 foot wide, or in diameter. Inside, it is very homey. Running along the external edge, you see no less than 10 beds, most of which are bunk beds, none of which hold any kind of great wealth to them. They are rags thrown across a wooden slat, a sleeping bag at absolute best. Interspersed between them, you also make out small crates and drawings that have just been nailed to the wall, some very childish, most of them very childish, actually. Pictures of rainbows and open fields and mythical creatures. Beyond that, you can also see tucked up on one of those bunk beds, a collection of stuffed animals in varying states of disrepair. And just personal knickknacks seem to decorate most of these spaces. On the left-hand side of the room, towards the kind of furthest external edge, there are stockpiles of crates where you can see small amounts of weapons, rifles sticking out, old flintlocks. You assume from the Unification Wars. You see blades just laid out with oiled cloths still kind of resting on their hilt, a couple of plates covered in the crumbs of meals past, and again, just all of the decorations of home, if a very, very poor household. No two items seem to have come from the same place. When you see a stack of 4 plates, they're all different. Some tin, some refined, one a lovely china material cracked quite drastically and stained. And as you kind of just take the room in a little bit, Eli smiles. Welcome home.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
Is it just you guys that live here? Just the 4 of you, or are there more?
Eli just kind of glances at the floor, and then back at several of the kind of knickknacks on the beds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were more of us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first time we've been properly back in a while.
Okay. Listen.
Take a seat, please. I'm just gonna pack some stuff up.
That's cool.
And he just makes his way over to some of the one of the beds and just starts taking the stuffed animals off, placing them very carefully onto the floor next to him, before placing them into a large box once he's kind of gathered them all together. As he starts doing so is when the pulley system kind of finalizes and Edlynnne, Jules, Lottie, and Kurt just kind of come into the center of the room, the floor just settling in place and locking, still leaving this large kind of pulley, large lever just sat in the middle of the room. Lottie just nods as she comes up and just points at the closest bed. Just pop him down on there.
Will do.
Let's take him over and put him on the bed.
You just...
No, a bit more, as much
Like
as I
a
want.
frying pan, like cooking.
Yeah.
Sizzle them and then
Yes.
throw them.
Yeah, we
the
just count to 3 and then
common
throw him in
Chalice
the...
saying.
Man, this guy's out for the number anyway.
He's not gonna...
You
No,
just-
we'll do it... Just, like, I'm gonna guess, like, just put the stretcher
Yeah.
kind of gently on the
Over it.
bed, and
Yeah.
as much as I want to cause this kind of...
Might add padding anyway.
If you can do me, tell you what, just do me a coordination medicine check of 0. Just one of you.
Let's see, do I have medicine?
No, I don't.
I don't have medicine either.
Can I?
I mean,
can I
it's a difficulty
assist? Can
0
I, like,
check.
Can I be directing?
Nah, I think we got
You
it.
just got.
How much,
I think we got
how
it.
much
Light.
coordination do you have, Max?
I got 10.
You roll it then, because I've got 9 coordination.
Just like
That
bloody
is-
claim. Fuck you.
That is a 10. Is that a pass or a fail again? I can't remember.
Nah.
Oh, nice! I did it.
You generate a point of momentum as the two of you just kind of... You try to very slowly place him down, but instead you just kind of hold him above and just drop. It's only an inch or two. You're fine. You're sure that's fine. And as you're doing so, you just kind of glance over, quite happy. Went well as far as you're concerned, and you just get a quick image of Cecily stood on the other side of the room.
Did I not do it right? Oh shit!
Just a little bit more genteel.
I cause the injuries that do this. I don't know how to deal with what happens after.
You're gonna have to teach me.
He's lying down.
Yeah,
now. It's okay. It's a couple of inches. I'm sure he'll be fine.
You can knock him out. Like he won't remember it. No?
Sorry, Cecily. Sorry,
Cecily.
It's okay.
Sorry,
as long as we
Cecily.
don't move him again, we should be fine.
As you're kind of talking, Lottie makes her way just around the room, kind of inspecting things. Mostly the weaponry. She just makes her way straight over to that stockpile and just starts kind of taking out rifles and inspecting them, placing them to one side. Eli is still very quietly making his way past beds. At this point, he's gathered up the belongings of at least 4 people and packed them away. At this point, he's not saying anything. Leaving just the kind of 5 of you stood in the room for a moment, feeling the kind of that there is still this lingering coolness to the air in here. Like the room is very, very good at keeping the heat out. Despite that, you're still, you still feel warmer than you have in a while. You're aware of the cool air, but you're still warm.
Jack, without saying anything, will just walk out of this particular room and start drinking himself into an early grave. With whatever was in that bottle he found, he described it as some horrible concoction of death.
It's fairly awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the type of alcohol where you would normally look in it and expect to find, I don't know, a scorpion or a snake, but it's just a handful of slugs.
Unfortunate.
You just kind of walk out the door, close it behind you, and settle down on the first step. The room itself of the warehouse, or the greater space of the warehouse, is deathly silent. The only noise you can really hear is coming from outside, and the muffled sounds of the people in the room behind you. You take a hearty swig from the bottle. Can you just make me a brawn resilience check, please? Difficulty, we'll say, is you've been probably necking this since you got it. Difficulty 2.
100%.
We're going to say difficulty 2 of a complication range of 16.
Okay. Resilience. That is 15. That's a success and a complication.
You take a hearty swig and feel the contents rush down your throat. It's very warm. It heats your body so much that it actually burns a bit. You kind of get the impression that there's probably no short amount of literally medical alcohol swilled in here at some point. And as you kind of enjoy that, take the hearty crunch of something that was in there with the drink.
They put nuts in this thing.
You really hope so. And as you kind of take that last gulp, you realize the bottle has just run completely dry.
You said there were a couple boxes in here?
There are a few boxes in the warehouse themselves. There are loads, but the vast majority, if not all of them, have been broken open and looted. Back in the room, there was a series of crates over in the corner, though.
Gonna wander around the empty boxes in the warehouse proper, come to the realization that there isn't anything else, throw the bottle, have a nice scream, punch some stuff till my knuckles are bleeding, and then just have a cry somewhere.
Understandable. For those of you in the room, you're kind of milling around a little bit, unsure of what to do for a few moments, and one of you will say Subil, just naturally wanting to kind of put a little bit of distance between yourself and everyone in this quite small room. You take yourself over to one of the corners and just lean on the window, glancing out as you see Jack slowly making his way down the stairs, this bottle just hanging between his fingers, eyes fixed on the floor as he marches very, very slowly around the edge of the room into the warehouse itself. You only catch his image as it cuts through the moonlight, this ghost of a man wafting around the area. He checks in several boxes and just refuses, can't find a single thing. One he opens, it's still quite heavily sealed, and you see almost this kind of moment of enthusiasm to him as the box gives, and then this crush in his kind of in his demeanor as he realizes whatever it was in there is empty. Just watch him kind of lean over that box, scream, and just start pounding his fist into the roof of it. The heavy wooden slats slowly splintering and breaking under the weight of every single strike. You can't make out the fraying of his knuckles, the way that his skin splits and blood begins to gestate out and mix with the wood. You can't see the splinters that bite into his palm as he brings it back. And you don't hear the wet crunch of the wood as he finally puts his fist bodily through it, tearing back out in this shower of splinters, blood, and as you realize at that point, tears, as he just sits back, turns away from the window, and just slides along the base of that box, folding into himself. Anything from you?
After the conversation on the boat, leaving Jack to kind of vent is the best plan in this case, because there's nothing Subil could possibly say. So, sorry. Is it, how are we doing? Better? Okay. I think seeing Jack on the boat in the past, Subil probably is feeling a little bit hopeless, actually, because there's nothing he could possibly say that could help Jack in this instance. So, so he's gonna make a mental note, and I think Subil will turn and just slowly walk back to the rest of the group, make a mental note of Jack, and just keep an eye. He's going to keep an eye on Jack out of the corner of his eye, because, as I said, he's got nothing he could possibly say, which is his only gimmick, you could say, you know. And I think Subil will walk back to to the main corridor group.
Okay, you turn your back on the window, but still kind of glance back every couple of steps, and just head a little bit more into the center of the room where everyone else is. At this point, Lottie's finished just glancing over the weapons and has pulled a small stool over to where Kurt is and is just sat resting next to him. Eli is clambered up onto the top of the the bunk beds, the base of which you've placed Kurt on, and is just kind of sat up there at this point, having doubled back on himself and just pulled a small toy rabbit back out of that box and has just kind of placed it in between his crossed legs and is just leaning over it a little bit as they just kind of glance down over Kurt before he looks up at each of you. So what's your plan?
Can't really say we've had much of a plan this time.
I mean, I'm sure I speak for Kurt, but I imagine you're all welcome here. There's, some free beds now.
Wouldn't hurt us to lie low for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of recharge, and
the longer we stay here, the more danger, the more risk we put you in. We need an escape plan, and we need an escape place.
Are we gonna find this kid? Like, are we gonna try and get him back?
like we have to try to get him back. I'm definitely going to try to get him back.
I think we should get him back. We can't just abandon
But the
him.
question is, like, do we do it now or do we do it later?
They'd be
Because if we do
expecting it now.
Do it now, they're still weak, are they not?
We have a week. I don't know if we really have
Well-
the power to do that.
We
to them.
barely got away from the boat. If it wasn't for Alistair, I think we'd all be dead.
But the longer we wait, the longer they get to recharge as well. Like, we can't win with what we have.
Don't know enough. We need to know where they are. We need to know how they know where we are. We need to know what they're doing, what they're thinking, why they're thinking it. But we don't know enough. That's
As much as I want to go after the kid now, it's not the right thing. They are definitely somewhat lesser off powered than they were before, but they're still powerful enough to overtake us, and they have been every time we fought them. We need to kind of, with Traeger there, with Kurt, with Canehurst somewhere, hell, even with Juliana just being in that boat, it's a miracle we got off how we did.
Never mind getting in there and...
Yeah, well, they'll be expecting us to go back.
Expecting us to go back no matter what. Really?
expecting a rescue.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. And now Sam has turned into bait.
Lottie kind of speaks up from behind her mask. Well, you've got to get him.
Yeah, but when and how?
Well, think of it this way. You know where they are now. They're coming back here, that much you know, and we know. After that, what information do you have on where they could go next? To the Inquisition, they're everywhere. But you've got a better chance trying to take him now than if they get him back to the peak. Let alone getting across the country to get to him anyway.
Is there like any paper or pen or anything that Edlynnne could do some just like jotting down on, so she can kind of figure out some brief kind of battle plans thing anywhere that she can?
Yeah, just you glance around just quickly, and just under the kind of third bunk bed, you can see a pad, just a big kind of assortment of paper sheets, and some crayons. Just kind of laying about on top of them.
I'll look up at Eli and just be like, is it okay if I take a piece of paper and a crayon? I just want to get some plans down. I don't know what your kind of thing is with taking stuff around here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit risky, but if we know that Juliana's intercepting pending, can we somehow arrange a meeting with just her?
I think that talking to Juliana may be a good idea. I mean, being honest with you guys, she's kind of the reason I got off the boat.
What?
Yeah, she had me at gunpoint and she let me off.
Why?
What? Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to understand. But she let me off.
Did she say anything? Did she what?
She just told me to. She literally just told me to swim, and then, did you hear? You heard a gunshot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was her shooting just there in my head. Not enough to hurt me, but enough to knock me over the boat. So maybe talking to Juliana, at least trying to, could work.
How?
I don't
Like
know.
they're not gonna do another meeting like we did last time.
They might do. Now that I mean.
You mean last time? Lottie asks.
Well, didn't you, Sybil? Didn't you have a meeting with them?
Found me in the basement of the tavern we were in. She offered a deal, which
What was the deal?
Sam was the deal. Sam for us. Which we refused, and now we're here. So I don't
And even
know
though they
how
have-
meeting her would work again. Why would she? Why?
Do you think they're gonna take the kid to like here, or do you think they're gonna keep him on the boat?
Might be taking him to where Isaac is, which is the other end of the country.
Here's the thing.
Then why are they coming back?
They need
Exactly.
some place to regroup anyway.
Just at the moment, as can I mention it? Lynn, can you make me an insight observation check of 2, please?
Oh, right. Two things that I don't have anything of.
Momentum?
I have 8 insight and 1 observation.
One momentum if
You've
you
got
want to
this.
send it.
Momentum.
Can I buy another dice? Please?
Yeah, go on, take it.
Okay, 9 to beat. Dice number 3.
Wait, while she's doing this, Edlynn's gonna be getting that piece of paper and just starting to like jot down like certain like kind of battle plans, as she's gonna call them. Her military brain's going to full effect now.
That is
Maybe
two successes.
Hey!
Oh,
As you mention the name, literally as you say it, the same place Isaac is, both Eli and Lottie visibly tense up.
Okay. Because he burned down their village. I'm just gonna strum.
They might know where.
He who shall not be named.
Well, they might know where the kid's gonna go.
Maybe. Wait, do you guys know where he is?
Lottie, yeah. I
Two
shadowed
birds,
them.
one stone. You want Isaac, and we want the kid. So we're able to get to that port if they're going there before them, and then jump them as they're leaving.
You've got no chance of catching them if he's going with Isaac. None
What do you mean by
whatsoever.
that? Well,
Well-
keep an Isaac.
They picked him up in Killport, as you well know, she says, glancing over at Sybil. From there, he was immediately loaded onto a boat. They took him upriver and have just been, well, cycling through those. The understanding is they're taking him directly to the Shining Peak, which will be,
still alive.
yeah, still alive. Trust me, I had the opportunity.
I remember fondly. Well, I remember.
And I'm guessing this place is impossible to get to and to break into.
You're talking
Prison.
about the heart of the Inquisition.
So we've got to do it here.
Well,
So come after us if we
Cecily-
do it here.
is right. We know that it may not be Pending's fault, but he may have been intercepted. But
Really?
if we know that, we can use that to our advantage. If not to set up a meeting, then to sow disinformation that we have finally, possibly,
I like that
the upper
idea.
hand.
Could we send a Pending, your weird pigeon, to the bar and say we're heading your way, and use that as a distraction so we can
Well, we need
get the kid?
We need bait. We know that we assume that they still need us because they've turned around. So we assume they're looking for us. We also can assume that they don't know that we know that they have possibly intercepted Pending with no fault of his, I will add.
I have to ask, why are you so protective of this pigeon?
Yeah, it's a fucking
He's a
pigeon.
war hero.
Disprove that.
It's a pigeon, man.
I've died too many times to even care about a war pigeon.
Far more than you, Jules.
Sybil, I've shat bigger things than that thing.
Well,
Has Pending died twice? No.
Pending
Okay.
has shat storms on all our enemies' heads, so don't even try it.
Lottie, kind of
This is
quite
a
just
hill.
very, very cautiously raises a hand.
Yes.
What war? Pigeons don't live longer than 6 years.
That's right,
Neither
Sybil.
of you are fucking lying.
What? Are you lying to us about this
Sybil,
fucking
get down.
pigeon at this moment?
Pending's got his own troubles, okay? Now let's not put
He's
it
a
on him.
pigeon!
Now
Sybil!
let's just think
pigeon
about
is the
how
trouble,
we can
man.
use Pending the war hero right now, okay?
Yes, the pigeon has its troubles.
Let's just turn this to our advantage.
Cecily, do you have anything to calm down nerves before I actually possibly commit murder by killing Sybil or
Yeah,
his
I would
pigeon?
say if you just stand in the other room. Stand the other,
Stand-
stand
stand-
the other
stand-
room, Eddie. Stand the other room.
Have like 5 minutes.
Square
Have
up,
5
room.
minutes to
Just-
yourself.
Square up room.
You see that massive pile of pillows over there? Just
Yes.
punch that a few times and
Scream
scream
in
into them. Yeah.
Yeah, going to do that now. I don't know what this accent I'm doing with her, but that's her accent now. It's like a slight
Fine. You pick yourself up and just lay into the pillows for a couple of moments. Eli,
Punch boxes, that's what cool people do.
Eli just
boxes
kind of
near me to punch. In a minute, I'll do it.
Eli spits, just kind of sits in place for a moment and just starts kind of fiddling with the rabbit's ears as he's talking. Look, from what Kirk told me, there are 2 places in Saushert you go if you're caught. As in that they'll take you to. One, you've got the local penitentiary. It's small, but it's there. Or 2, the Canehurst estate isn't overly far away. And
I'll put good
seems
money
your
in
lad's a channeler.
Yeah, I'm putting money on the Kane House estate. Or the Canehurst estate.
I don't think we can put money on stuff. We've just got to make sure 100%. Because if we end up going finding some...
Well, I don't see them putting a child in a penitentiary, especially one that they've been
True.
trying to get for ages.
True.
Sybil is... Oh.
No, I got nothing.
Sybil's going to turn and look at an Eli and address Eli and Lottie and ask, do you know any contacts within the Freed, former contacts, they don't need to be active, but known or unknown locations within Saushert that possibly were used by the Freed?
Eli shrugs. No idea. And Lottie, unfortunately, this is the furthest south I've been in years.
It's all right. We need to find a diversion. If we can convince somehow the Inquisitors that we are trying to find refuge similar to how it was feels like years ago now. How it was before. We may be able to draw enough of their attention away from a possible suicide/rescue mission to the Canehurst estate. If we can somehow convince them that we're a big enough threat that they can draw their forces away, they're obviously not going to leave Sam unguarded, but they may well have the hubris or arrogance or confidence or whatever word you want to choose, that they may give us some chance.
Could just hope that whatever Sam's been keeping away in that other realm breaks through when he's at Canehurst and completely decimates everybody. But I mean, I kind of wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, honestly. That's, as much as it would work, it's not the best strain of thought.
I can make explosives.
I've never heard you still happy.
Could we not
Never.
make some sort of like booby trap or something, like some trap for them on the way to this manor, like a blockade or something, so we can or could we make a diversion in some kind of populated area and sneak in and steal the kid?
I just want to make this perfectly clear now. And Subil makes eye contact with every single one of them and sort of rests his eyes on Lottie at the end, and just says, our diversion will not, cannot involve killing innocent people.
Agreed.
Yeah,
That
let's not
means
do
no-
any more
I
of
can
that.
just make things go.
And
What?
that means
When was that ever an
And
option?
that means including
You
by
motherfucker.
accident. That means including by accident. We can't risk. I mean,
Agreed.
Yeah,
What
I
I'm
can't have
saying,
so- I
if we get like the big names or whatever to go into some populated area and then use them, getting distracted with all those people, and then sneaking off and
how
go
much
collecting the
risk
kid.
does that put
I mean,
them
all
in,
it could take.
inadvertently or directly.
All it could take is probably one of us. If I knew how the Inquisition worked on a sort of military kind of scale, because I'm gonna guess it's different to what I've been told all my life. I could make a somewhat guess as to how we can do this, but without that kind of knowledge, I'm just guessing at the wind here.
Ben,
Yes.
do I still possibly have that mysterious contact that I could summon at any point in time?
You still do, yes.
I
Good,
can't.
Oh,
Sorry, apologies. I can't get to the Southhurst map on World Anvil, but I was just wondering whereabouts the Canehurst estate is.
It is to the northeast. You
Is it
literally rode past it to get here.
Because my memory's foggy. Because a lot of stuff's happened then. Could you please remind Cecily whether is it set back from the road?
Yes, so if you remember on your way down to Saushert, you took the northern road in and you passed by a large estate that was bordered by a fairly decently sized forest. It's actually where you found the young lad that Edlynnne and Alistair scared half to death.
Yep.
No. Alistair
Yeah,
scared
to be
half
fair,
to death.
it was
I was trying to speak nicely to the kid, just for clarification.
Do not speak ill of the dead.
So
I
just-
wasn't. I'm just saying that you remembered that wrong.
A little bit.
I'm guessing there's just one main road going into it, and they're going to be taking.
There is the one main road that you are aware of.
I'm just going
I
to
was gonna
suggest
say that
blowing
bit.
up a
The quick and
bridge.
There's gotta be-
Lottie just kind of gestures over to the window. If you're looking for a distraction, there's a man out there that can grow taller than a building.
I mean, he with the kind of emotional state he is in, I don't know how well
building.
he'll-
Trust me. In the emotional state he's in, I can imagine one of the core things he wants to do is take it out on someone.
Agreed.
because I've been there, she says, again, glancing at Subil.
Odd from Sybil's recognition.
Well, we can't do it. We can't do it when he's been drinking. I don't. In case something happens.
Hypothetically, if we got the big guy out there,
Someone's got to stay with the big guy to make sure he doesn't get taken. Kind of just gonna go back over to the table and start just like jotting down notes again, and like they're very furious kind of scribbles, kind of.
big guy is the biggest lure, you could say, the bait. He's the next biggest threat to the Inquisition, I can imagine, explicitly at least.
He'd also represent a loose channeler. This close to Canehurst's home, you may as well spit on his shoe.
Yeah, and he's going to come running.
It's also whether or not Jack agrees to do this.
To help.
He probably will. I mean,
Yeah.
he's angry, but still.
We'll do it, but like, is it a wise thing?
Eli kind of goes, sometimes when it comes to saving people you care for, wise doesn't enter into the equation.
I mean,
At
we
that
also
point,
have
he
to
just kind of
remember that
takes the little rabbit and just places it on the pillow next to him.
I mean, at this point, we also have to remember that everything we've done hasn't really been the wisest. Otherwise,
No wonder good ideas ever come into factoring in this group.
we wouldn't be in this situation.
To act on them.
At this point, Lottie just kind of takes the hood of her robe and just places it up over her head a bit more. And you can see her just fiddling with the clasps on her mask. Kind of taking a large pipe out of her pocket and just starting to tap out some old tobacco. Eli is the first to go, not in the house.
Sybil will pipe up. If she wants to smoke, she can smoke. I mean,
No.
No,
Her had a rule.
No, outside.
Her has
like,
rules.
we've got,
Can I just ask, why
we're
did
not
Kurt
animals.
come to rescue us?
we're hiding on a national manhunt. And you, I love Kurt. He's a great guy, but really, Eli.
Yeah, I mean, Eli, come on. I don't know you too well, but let the lady smoke in the house.
She's already kind of got up and goes, no, it's fine.
There's a dying guy right in the middle. Like he needs any more smoke.
You're right. And she kind of just takes the mask off, having turned her back to each of you. You can just see the mask kind of like being placed on the stool she was on as she walks off and just kind of exits through the same door that Jack went through earlier. Eli, having listened to your question, Edlynnne, I mean, you'd have to ask Kurt, obviously, but look, let's not beat around the bush. You know who we are. We know who you are.
That's why I'm wondering why you saved us.
Because the people that killed our friends aren't you. They're gone. We tried to rob you. I mean, that's... Things got out of hand, but... The person that shot my family is gone. Both of them. And who are we to turn our backs on people that need help, right?
Look, if we could go back and change what happened that day, we would. I know there's nothing I can do to bring them back.
It's fine. Just let's just focus on saving yours. There's a box of toys down there that needs a new family.
Okay.
Your lad might be able to make some use of them.
Well, we appreciate it, so. And I kind of just like look down because she's feeling hella guilty. Like I know she didn't kill anybody, but she's feeling hella guilty about what happened. So she's gonna just go back to the writing kind of thing.
Which then kind of just leaves the rest of you. As at this point, Eli has just kind of very quietly sat there now. You can see he's buried his head in his hands. You can hear the soft snoring of Kurt sleeping off his multiple injuries.
And all that morphine.
All that morphine. He's out for it.
Shit.
I mean,
How's a cake?
I'm gonna need to check Kurt over anyway, but
if he has a heartbeat at all.
Yeah.
How much morphine we've
At least
given
Ben said he was snoring as opposed to
Okay.
absolutely nothing, so we know he's still alive.
Kurt's just been out there morbing too hard.
Yeah. But
I can't kick you from the call, Jago, but if I could, I would have.
in the various supplies that are in this room, is there an alchemist kit? Because you said on the boat I couldn't fully heal Kurt because I didn't have access to an alchemist kit.
Mhm.
But I can now if I do have access to one. Is there one?
If you have access to one, you can kind of fix them up a little bit more. You
Yeah.
know full well that the injuries are going to take more than anything time
Mhm.
to fix up unless you have exactly what you need. You can go over and have a little look through the boxes.
Mhm.
It would be, I would need you to make a reason observation check.
Alternatively, can I stick my head out the door and just ask Lottie because she'll know where stuff is. It's her stuff.
She has never been here before,
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought, okay.
which is why she was inspecting everything so carefully.
I thought she was just checking to see if someone had tried to nick anything while they were gone. Okay. Okay, what do I need to do? An insight?
Insight observation of 3. Or,
Okay.
sorry, reason observation.
Oh, that's
Those are
slightly
better.
better. That's slightly better. Can I buy a dice, pretty please?
I'd love to say yes,
That's fine.
but when you have no money,
That's okay. I'm used to having no money. Reason observation 12. That's one success.
You start digging through some of the boxes, but you kind of can't find what you need. You find smatterings of alchemy, a few vials here or there, which have a variety of strange names. You recognize a couple of them. One is a stimulant, quite literally just that. It's enough to give someone a kick, but nothing more aggressive, nothing more beneficial. One is, you do find one rather interesting one called Night Eye, which was developed a couple of years ago. You know full well imbibing it will allow the user to see in the dark for a short period of time.
Nice.
But you don't find a full kit. You do find one last one, which is this really kind of like vividly green mixture, corked with a little string tied around it, and just in this really shaky hand, the words "frog's anus" written onto it.
I'm gonna take it. It might come of use for something.
No idea what it is. You recognize alchemy when you see it. What it actually does beyond you.
Yeah.
Anything?
Where did Holly go?
Holly died.
I am.
There she is.
Holly is writing down.
don't say a word. Don't say a word. No.
No, I'm writing down. I'm making an Operation Save Sam list.
Honestly,
Good,
I
'cause
thought
I
it was
have no idea what it
Operation
is.
Frog's Anus.
I don't know what Frog's is. Why? How would I make Operation Frog's
I don't know. It's now in my pocket.
I
Cecily's pocket.
just heard funny word and started laughing, and
I know,
and nobody needs to read further into that.
But as you're kind of rummaging around and you leave both Subil and Jules sat on either side of Edlynnne as they're kind of just like crooning over and just seeing the various crayon maps of the area.
I am every time they lean
scribblings in
over.
Wisian.
I am like pushing them away, going no. very much secretive of my plans.
And outside in the kind of dark of the warehouse, Jack, your tears slowly drying around your fist, which you've just had driven into your forehead for the last 5-10 minutes, start to kind of just dry. You can feel the skin around your eyelids starting to kind of seize up. You have to just rub some of it out. As you glance up, and you can just see this small occasional light from besides the door you left. And you can see just reflected in the occasional bright light of her pipe, the horrifically scarred features of Lottie. Her face completely destroyed by first-degree burns.
Yay. We're all having a great time.
And you can see just her eyes looking out across through the windows that follow around the external edge of the warehouse. And what passes for her eyebrow, this just slight inclination of the muscle there. You see the skin kind of moving to expose the muscle just beyond, below, as she inclines her eyebrow.
I'll just...
You just follow her gaze, and just glancing down, there is a window sat across from you. It's old and dusty, but there, it's still kind of covered in dust and cobwebs, but you can quite happily go up and just wander over and just slide it clean, just years of dust cascading off into the air. And you can just see straight down, it continues into a long, kind of a fairly long alleyway that you passed through to reach the warehouse you're in. There's a main road as well, but the alleyway is what you took. From the other side of it, you can see gas lights just hanging in the near distance, slowly going off just as the hours of the evening get later and later, as you're kind of at this point quite late into the night. The moon is in the center of the sky, if not slightly past, and you can just see the silhouette of a figure making their way down towards where you are.
Yeah, expecting people. Wait, yeah. Shit, the other kid.
Get ready to take kneecaps.
Ah, the other kid's coming. All right.
And you just see them walking straight down towards, and as their silhouette becomes just darker and darker on the edge, as it kind of closes towards you, more silhouetted itself by the fact that it's got a light directly behind it. You see it's walking at quite an unusual candor, almost stumbling over itself. It leans on the wall just to kind of steady itself for a moment, and then picks itself back up and takes another couple of steps.
I'm gonna make my way out to the front door. And
you can just go back out the way you came in.
Yeah.
You just wander around, pull up the small bar that had been placed behind you into that kind of smaller left-hand side of the building, swing the door open, just start walking out. And just in front of you, very, very slowly, kind of lunging is the easiest way of describing their movement. They kind of they take very heavy steps forward and then balance back a little bit. And you see that the clothes of the person approaching you are dripping wet. You can see the splashes of water being left in their wake as just more and more droplets just fall free from their form as they just stumble forwards. And then just as the kind of moonlight cuts over them, you see the figure of the man you punched just stumble forwards a little bit, fall back, their face just kind of bent over, their hair thick and wet, leaning down over there, just cascading again down across their face, and droplets running free.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Stood maybe 30 feet away from you.
I'll turn around and go back inside. I don't know him.
You just turn around, close the door,
Yeah.
and it just, you have no idea what happens, and just close the door behind you. The last thing you hear as you close the door is just and as you kind of just step back into the main warehouse, glance up and see Lottie just look down at you. Who was it?
Nobody. Just some drunk.
There's a sudden knock at the door. Just
So like a window that gives you a line of sight on the door?
nope.
Sorry, we're closed.
Back tomorrow.
As
But just
Anger.
the cleaning team.
anger rising, I'm going to I will realize there's been this massive fucking shard of box in my hand, Far Cry style, just pull it out, toss it to the floor, and just rip open the door.
You fling it to the ground, swing the door open, and directly in front of you is the same man. Still kind of arm extended out, as if he was just about to knock again, still kind of swaying in place.
Push.
You just reach out, place a hand on him, and just go to push, and he kind of just folds back. And as you do, you bring his features up into the light. And as the hair just slowly, still stuck to the sides of his face, just leans back, you watch his eyes, or more precisely, eyelids, hang completely loose, drooped in place, completely bare of anything within the socket. As you push him back, his mouth opens and water just slowly leaks. You can see the muck and filth of the river that you rode in on just leaking from his mouth. And you just hear...
What the fuck?
And you just, as he kind of lines back, you see something in his throat pushing out, followed by something else. Bulges moving their way rapidly from the interior of his chest up his windpipe. And you just see his body just start to... as a finger pops out of the side of his mouth, wraps around the lip, followed by another one and another one. Several just tear out. His eyelids are torn open as two fingers just slide out. His ears tear off of the side of his head, and you just hear a single smiling cackle.
Oh, square up,
We're gonna go
son.
to a break.
Oh, square up, son. Let's go. I am ready to throw down.
I'm not.
So, here for 10 minutes. We'll be back shortly, where they get to deal with this, or more precisely, Jack does.
Let's
Jack.
fucking go.
Good luck, Jack.
Oh, so fucking.
Fun.
Hold with us for the next few minutes. We will be back shortly to continue on. Thank you very much. right, hello again, everyone. Thank you very much for hanging with us, as there was much fevered debate over that break on what to do next. But outside of all of that, we come first and foremost to Jack. You stand there, still just in the doorway, having your arms still just extended as you watch this creature just kind of lean back, the fingers bursting from their mouth, drool and salt water spilling from around them as this gurgled cackle kind of pushes its way through the wriggling, inching fingers that just stream across its face. Immediately, I need you to make a will resilience check.
Okie dokie. Oddly chipper for the horrific scene that's occurring. They did their best, but that is 2 successes.
You step back, managing to kind of hold yourself against what you're seeing as the creature just continues to just contort, the arms twisting up behind its back, and you watch its shoulder blades crack and break as more hands just start pulling from behind the clothes and slowly tearing out. You watch 2, 3, 4 more arms just reach from the back as they just continue to contort and snap and learn just kind of slowly creep towards you.
Here we go.
I'm going to spend 3 chaos, and it goes first.
Oh, you dick! I should remember I healed from since last session.
The first thing that happens is you just feel this sudden kind of wave of cold rush over you. And from behind the fingers and just cascading and slowly leaking from the empty eyelids where you can see more kind of limbs twitching in place, you see a small amount of silver blood drip down. How much courage do you have?
I have 4. Ooh.
I needed more dice.
Oh, fuck. One of those.
4, you say?
Yes. Scratch that, 3.
As the creature just contorts in place, you watch as the arms just form out into the secondary form behind it, and this almost ghostial image of matted corpses just slam into one another and just rise up. The body rips out, clasping onto the edge of the building, and you try to move back, you try to shout, you try to do anything, and you find the air in your lungs has just stopped.
Oh, fuck.
It leans over you, and the fingers just reach out from the head and just start to wrap around your face. Slowly probing, you feel them pushing into your mouth, pulling your lips apart as extra fingers slide from its mouth into yours and start pushing down your throat. You feel everything just dislodge, your own teeth get ground over, you can taste the decay on them, and just watch as more and more wrap around your eyes, place their thumbs onto your sockets, and just start to push. You try to scream but can't. You take 9 points of mental stress, down to 6.
Oh boy!
However, you take no injury.
Huh.
The creature releases you, and you can feel it. The fingers, the hands that have crawled into your throat continue down and lodge into your stomach. You can feel them wriggling around within you. You see as it pulls back, an arm just disconnects from its slacked jaw, spittle just releasing from it. And you just stand there, twitching slowly as they writhe about your insides.
Oh my fucking god.
And you just feel it there. You feel this voice in the back of your head. Go inside. Bring me more. And you just step back, turn in place.
I am so here for this.
And start walking back towards the room.
Oh, I am so here for this.
Until otherwise stated, you will be receiving messages.
Oh, no, shit. Why'd you have to give the dyslexic one messages? Keep them short.
I'll do. If we can return everyone else back, please.
Oh, God. Okay. Oh.
Right.
Could have gone worse. Could have gone a lot better.
Yeah. Inside, there's just a small kind of knock on the door as you're all sat inside. And the door swings back open and Lottie makes her way in. Keeping her head just declined away from you, using a hood to keep the worst of her visage hidden. She kind of just tries to makes her way across the room, picks her mask back up. How's it going in here?
I'm still trying to figure out a plan, but it could be worse.
Confusingly.
So, she says as she just kind of reattaches one of the belts just around, keeping the mask now back in place. She kind of glances down at the numerous crayon drawings that are just lying around the floor.
Well,
directly in front of Edlynnne.
He's currently like sat cross-legged, like on the floor with all these papers surrounding her like a madman, just like.
I didn't know what to do, so I drew flowers in the corner.
I mean, honestly, it helps. Honestly,
Crayon. And
they're very good flowers.
Scribbling.
Very good
Thanks.
Piece of paper. Just work. Will it work? I don't know.
Subil, you're wrecking the paper again.
He's been doing that for like the whole time.
Subil, why don't you?
It's that or crying. He cries so much.
It's stressful.
Subil, go cry into a pillow. It'll help. There you go. Let it all out. There you go.
Cecily, from your perspective, as you've kind of finished rummaging through everything, you just glance out the window that leads into the warehouse, and you can just see Jack crossing the floor, making his way back up the stairs towards the rest of you.
Jack's on his way back, guys.
Right. Have we got kind of a plan to tell him?
Well,
I feel like we need to tell him the bullet points, and from that we just expand it.
I have a feeling everything that's just gone on makes a lot more sense to Eddie than to me. A lot of it's just like a spider web of stuff.
Agreed.
Oh my God.
Someone wrote down their shopping list in my battle plan.
That was mine. I need to pick up milk. I need it from a cereal.
priorities.
Also, don't forget the eggs and bacon as well.
Agreed.
That was on the list as well.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
making damn good fried breakfast.
Do you want to just, I'll just hand that piece of paper to Jules not here.
Thank
Take
you.
your shopping list.
I'll need that for later.
Yeah.
The
don't
door
use that.
Open the door.
Yeah, I was going to say the door swings open and Jack makes his way inside. You can see blood matted his right hand, as well as a few splinters that are still in place. And he's just he's paying no attention to it really, apart from occasionally just pulling a few out.
Do you want me to wrap the bandage that up for you?
Yeah, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah, okay.
Did it help getting the anger out like that?
Yeah.
Good. Well, we're trying to find a way to get him back. Don't worry.
Good. I'm...
Gonna get him back. Jack.
We've got kind of a plan.
Jules made a shopping list, so that helps.
Yeah. Do you need anything on the shopping list?
Booze?
Haven't eaten properly in weeks. You're making me hungry.
Booze? That's what
Booze it is. Booze it is, right. Booze. Question mark. He's not told me what type of booze.
Will be the strong stuff.
All
The
of
strong
yeah, the strong stuff. Yeah.
You're talking to a bartender here, love. Like
Rum, whiskey.
rum.
Strong stuff.
Whatever you think is strong.
Fuel of some sort, probably.
Fuel, right? You're gonna have
Methylated
fuel.
spirits.
Okay,
Why the hell not?
While they're doing that, I'll try and,
Sybil,
The plan.
get up with the papers and just do more jotting.
think-
can you
Yeah, I think we gotta do this a little bit.
can you come with me a
first.
second? There's
Who?
Sybil, can you come with me a second? There's something that I really think needs your expertise.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'll explain on the way. Come with me. Just
I'll be back in a bit, everyone.
come on.
We'll keep working on the plan.
Yeah,
Yes.
just whatever. I'm fucking game. Just
Okay. Well, think of how we can. Yeah. Think of the ambush.
ambush. Okay, right. So what were you thinking of? What was your plan then? I'll start to talk it as we're going down the stairs.
Well, we're gonna try and get him on the way.
Okay.
We know where. Well, we think we know where they're going.
Okay.
We think we know where they're going, and we think we might be able to. Well, we think we might be able to snatch him possibly before they leave the city. Hopefully, when they're not expecting.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
What is this?
Could we?
Yeah, what's going on?
I had an idea. What if the
Kind of across the warehouse at this point.
the entity? I'll be moving towards the front door, whatever door we came in from.
Yeah.
We'll slow down a little bit with him talking about that, but still walking, but a little.
What if we
cautious.
could? Well, obviously, you've had the most experience with it, right?
Intimately, yes.
Yeah. What if, like, obviously, I'm a massive law for any Inquisition, but could we use you to lure that thing to Canehurst?
Well, we. Okay. But we don't know if it's after me.
Well,
particularly.
you know, you've got
Seems interesting. But
you've got going on, so I'll say whilst pulling another splinter out.
where's this come from? What I don't understand.
I don't know. You're obviously planning, and my head was whirring.
Okay, so what? So you wanna you wanna draw out the you wanna draw out the thing.
Yes, I want to draw it out.
And what do you think it'll go after Canehurst if he's close? Do you think Canehurst will
Oh,
go after
it's very, very close.
What do you mean by that? Have you seen
I
it?
channel level 1 and sock Subil.
Make a brawn athletics check.
Since there is no momentum.
Have one extra dice. As a chaos is expended.
Fair dues, fair dues.
What?
Brawn athletics. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. That's 2 successes.
You generate 2 chaos. And please roll damage against Subil.
That's 3 dice.
With an additional dice on top.
Okay.
No.
Is that anything like vicious or anything applied?
Only if you already had it.
That level 1. That is a no. So 2 points of damage. 2 of those were blanks.
You
Fuck it.
lash out suddenly, crashing your fist directly into Sybil's face, causing you to just reel back from the blow, Subil. Immediately, as he draws his hand back, you see the stone start to just envelop his form and rush across his body.
Jack, what is this?
And as he does, normally where you see the stone kind of build across his face and envelop his mouth, the stone stops just past his nose, keeping just his mouth exposed to the elements. And you just watch as he just pulls back, opens, and a finger just pulls its way out of his mouth, followed by another one and another one.
I am immediately shouting hands as loud as I possibly can, hoping that Holly, that Eddie will hear it, because that's our code word. Just shouting it, scrambling back.
Make
as
me
I possibly can.
a brawn persuasion check.
Brawn
Difficulty
persuasion.
2.
Ben,
Yes.
can I spend chaos as a, or can I suggest a chaos?
Oh yeah,
spell?
you can suggest chaos spells.
The more you do, the more
Just
I'm gonna
grab
keep
Civil
taking
by the
caps.
mouth before he could say anything to change the truth.
Why not? Let's burn that free chaos. Sybil, you go to open your mouth and Jack lunges forward, clasping his stony hands around your throat and face, pinning you in place and just suffocating the word before it leaves your mouth.
I'm so sorry.
He pins you there, driving you down to the ground as you try to scrabble away. And just from behind him, you hear a door open.
I mean, can we hear like any like sounds of struggle or something from where we are?
If you can make me a insight observation check of... They've not been incredibly loud. They're in a different room to you. I'm going to say 4.
Because I'm next to the window
Yeah.
because I saw Jack coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to say that I'm not watching him go out again, especially if I bandage his hand up. I want to make sure he's not fiddling with it.
Mhm.
Would I have seen some of this?
We'll call your... Okay, by that logic, we'll call yours insight observation 2.
Insight observation.
As they've kind of gone almost onto the other side of the door, and as I said, the light level in there is pretty atrocious.
Oh, come on, 2 successes. Be good to me, dice.
I'm sorry, Billy. I'm sorry.
Billy, do you want me to take his kneecaps on? I'm going to
Justice
see him
later.
soon. I'm going to take his kneecaps for you.
Billy and Max are going to see me first.
Guys, I got 2 successes. I got a 3 and a 6.
I also got 2, so I won't hear it. But if you hear it, you can alert us, and then we can
Fucking
go and help.
A.
You don't hear anything. None of you hear anything over your own conversation. Eli has started poking in his own ideas for how he could potentially kind of catch any carriage leaving the city before it becomes too far out to become to be a problem. Lottie starts picking out positions where she could provide you covering fire. And as you're all just kind of looking over the map, Cecily, you just glance out the window, and just to try and make out where Subil and Jack are, as you see Subil recoil out from the doorway into the next area of the warehouse. You see him hit the floor, hand across his mouth, hand across his face as he just wipes blood from it, before looking back up as you see Jack looming forward, covered in stone, reaching down and just wrapping his hands around Sybil's throat and face.
Okay, guys, go. Jack's attacking Sybil. Jack is attacking. Jack is stony and attacking Sybil.
What?
Jack is attacking Sybil.
Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna find the closest. Ella's is literally gonna hear that. Find the closest thing she can use as a weapon. And how big is the window? Because she's probably just gonna jump out the window and just try to like.
It's about a 15-foot drop.
Then no, she's
You're
gonna
made out of magic and elastic, aren't you?
Drama.
Half of you are metal. Just land on the metal side.
Yeah.
Well,
Right in the fucking Jack's head.
as much as you have noticed it, they are both going to get an action before any of you can really do much. I'm going to give the next turn to Sybil first, though. As you see, as I say, from your position, Sybil, he's got you in place. You're still able to move. He's just covering your mouth at this point. You glance behind him as a door swings open, and you just see multiple arms slide in, strapping themselves to the roof, and can literally just... as at least 6-7 arms start scrabbling across the ceiling, and you see this human body, the man you saw at the docks, swinging underneath them, as if just this limp bag of flesh.
I just want it on the record, still regret nothing.
This just limp bag, empty bag of flesh, swinging in place beneath this mass of arms, and just in the head of Derek, the man who you once saw punched in the face, you see fingers poking out of his eyes, lunging from his mouth in this cruel imitation of, you can only really equate it to the mandibles of the spider, as it just slides across the ceiling, bringing itself in just on the other side of the doorway behind Jack, like a cruel puppet master. And you just see that empty mouth twist up into a smile, as if every individual fingernail was a separate tooth. Time to collect what is mine. And it just crawls slightly closer as Jack just holds in place. We will have such fun, Subil. Just let me in. I need you to make a will resilience check of 2, please.
Could I... Resilience. No, never mind. Okay. 10. So that's 12 to beat. Well, there goes fucking nothing. That's that's 1 success and 1 complication.
Yep. How much courage do you have?
Not any. Oh, you mean Sybil?
Yeah.
1.
1. That's ignored. 2, 3, 4, 5. You take 6 mental stress just from seeing it.
Ooh, that gonna suck. I'm so sorry.
Was there a scene change before?
Yes, you will have regained all of your stress from last time.
Okay, cool. Oh, I'm on 6 stress.
Of course, as you've taken 6, that does also equate to an injury. And yours is quite literally just memories. You start to remember your last time with him.
I really don't want to do
10 long years
11
under his care. Every touch, every cut, every caress, every taste. You get an action.
Okay. Sybil, upon seeing the creature, would just be wanting to get away. That's all he needs. So he's gonna. So his arms and legs are free currently. It's just face.
Yep, he's just covering your mouth.
He's gonna use all of his frail strength that he has possibly left to push away as hard as he can, as far as he can from Jack.
Mhm.
Trying to use his feet, anything to scrabble away and to just assuming the stair. He's gonna that's the first step because that's gonna be hard enough. He's gonna try and scrabble for the direction of the stairs to try and get to everyone upstairs. Upstairs? They are upstairs.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. And of
Absolutely
course,
fine.
as soon at literally the second or the moment, like he's screaming at the moment, but obviously it's muffled. So as soon as he can possibly make a sound, he will be making sounds. And loud sounds.
We'll say as he was only covering your mouth and he hasn't got like a really strong grip, it's going to be a fairly easy check to break free. I just need you to make, we're going to say Brawn Athletics difficulty 1.
Got it.
We will give you a complication range of 18, however.
No athletics. Fun times. That's a brawn check.
You got it, baby. I believe in you.
You can
In the
do this.
Momentum, do we?
Maybe next
No,
level up,
dice.
you should get athletics.
maybe just a little.
Well, I mean, it's not in character though, because he's.
Well, it is now.
If you have been running them,
Yeah, you
Run
run
away!
over those rooftops if you haven't gained some muscle mass by now.
Well, yeah, not wrong. Okay. Here we go.
believe.
Go for it.
On the other side. That's one success.
One foot, you lash your foot out and just catch Jack. It doesn't do any major damage. Of course, he's covered in stone at this point, but it is enough just to push him back. His hand loosens for a second, and that gives you enough space just to spin in place and start crawling away.
And shouting.
Yep, immediately start bellowing.
Just shouting hands as loud as I possibly can.
Every single one of you hears that. Having already been kind of roused to action. You sprint away, literally scrabbling before catching your foot, bringing yourself up and pacing as rapidly as physically possible to the base of the stairs. You wrap your hand around the handrail and clamber up, getting about 2-3 steps up. You want to look behind you because you're very aware of the movement, but you don't. You just keep staring forwards.
No, I'm resisting every possible urge to turn because it's not going to help. It's going to make it worse. I am running as fast as I can. Adrenaline and fight or flight, and I am flying. Oh.
Definitely. At which point it goes on to the next action, which in this case will be Jack.
Fuck me on this.
I could do.
If you want to keep your
thing.
kneecaps.
Yeah, so I
bad.
could do this thing, and it would be really thematic.
Oh.
But I would. But it just
Do
You
what you need to
hear
do, boss.
hissing in the back of your mind, churning in your stomach as the various parts that you can only assume have been spawned from the corpse of the man hanging behind you, churn in your gut and start just slowly crawling up through your intestines towards your throat, wrapping around everything they can grip. You hear whispered in the meat of your mind. Bring him back. Kill them all.
You know what? Fuck, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend a void point to change the truth.
Stop it!
The box I was punching happens to be next to me. The fist, where the fist went through, I'm going to use the handle and frisbee it towards Subil.
Throw in a box.
Oh, but Ben,
Wouldn't that be chaos though? Because technically, it wouldn't be a void point. It would technically be chaos though, wouldn't it? Because
I mean, I'm still happy for him to claim it as a void point. I won't let him touch your momentum, but his void points are his to use.
I wouldn't touch the momentum because there's nothing there to touch.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, we don't have
If there was momentum, you would use the orb.
Can I use the chaos?
You don't have.
Can I use the chaos? Because I'd like to keep my void point, but if you're gonna lock the chaos in,
No,
then
you don't
I'm
get
gonna-
to. You don't get to just fuck.
Pick and choose.
If you want to fuck
don't
me
get-
over,
yeah.
then you
I'm
use
just
You
saying,
fucking
I-
over.
Get the fucking use on
I'm that
momentum.
committed
and you
to
pay
this.
the price.
I'm just saying, I'm that committed to this body takeover bullshittery,
No,
mind
that's
control,
fair.
whatever.
No.
We'll take the void point. You
Okay.
lash out, grabbing hold of the top of the lid. Test the weight of it before getting ready to just fling. Make me. We're going to say as you spent a void point on it. It will be coordination, but coordination athletics 1.
Okay. Coordination. Oy. That's not very good.
Good.
Good. Just miss.
So, I mean, there's still 11.
Fuck it up.
Come on, dice, be bad.
That's his good face. That's his,
I don't like
that's
that
his
face. Stop making
That's
the
his
face.
face he gets.
Just tell us.
Fuck off.
Please.
3 successes.
That was a crit! That's a crit and another success!
Well, I hope you're immune to boxes.
Yeah, with my 6 mental stress left.
I'm going to ask
That
you,
game here, Bill.
what's your brawn
My
rating?
brawn is 10.
Okay, can you roll 6 damage dice?
Oh my
Oh
fucking
no! If Sybil dies to
I'm
a
bad.
box,
It's
I'm
gonna
not
be-
going to be happy.
It's free from the improvised weapon, 1 because of the larger scale, and the extra 2 off of your higher brawn stat.
Oh shit, yeah, because I've
Do you?
Actually, Joel's full there.
Oh.
You could use your void point, Billy.
You may be the first
You
one.
have one left.
Max, we can use our halfway point. It's the
4,
same number.
5 points of
Yeah,
damage.
but we're not there.
That's okay.
I
That's
know.
okay.
I'm
That's
going
fine.
to give you
Can we get Lottie
5
just
points.
to...
I'm going to give you at least a point of cover, as I've already said that there's a guardrail between you and him.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Yeah, so that's absolutely fine. Do you have any armor to speak of?
Let's take a look. That's a big fat no.
A big fat no, in which case that's 4 points of stress are going to break through to you.
How many, sorry?
4.
Okay, well, that's 2 left.
Oh my god.
You watch as you don't even watch as you start clambering up. There is a sudden and a smash as wood breaks against the handrail next to you, and you are showered in broken wood. The impact alone is enough to send you sprawling just into the wall on the opposite side as this box lid just explodes next to you. You glance back briefly just to see where it came from, and you can see Jack there, arms still extended from throwing it.
I'm sorry.
More
No, you're not.
Long.
I wish
His
I could
fingers
Look at
having
his
now at
face,
this
he's
point
enjoying
wrapped
this.
around the entirety of his head. You can see hands have erupted from the interior of his mouth and are up here now, just.
Oh
And
my
you just
god.
have that slowly swinging corpse behind him as the remaining features of the thing start climbing up the wall, heading for the ceiling.
I was really hoping that.
At which point, you have at least one moment of hope as you glance up and hear the door upstairs open.
Oh,
And
I'm
whichever one of you would like to act first gets a turn.
Well, I was gonna say, is there anything metal anywhere that I can pick up and use as a weapon?
There are blades in with the
There are.
guns and stuff.
Square up.
Okay,
Let's go.
I'd like to go grab. How sharp? Can I determine how sharp they are just by looking at them?
You have a quick look. They look like just roughly stolen equipment. They're okay. None of them would pass muster where you've come from, but it'll do the job.
And Ben, I would like to make you an offer. I will give you. And listen, because you may like this, because it's very much in your favor, because I'm giving you chaos.
Ooh.
I like chaos as well now.
No, you don't get chaos. Fuck off.
You don't get a say,
You
boy.
bad guy now.
Yeah, Jago. I'm gonna do my own. I'm gonna try to do my own cool thing, okay? Because I can't do
With
much with a half
blackjack
a
and
void point.
hookers.
I will give Ben void points,
Oh
2, maybe 3, if he lets me do this. If
Void points.
just to say that while I go to grab one of the blades, like a piece of wood cuts my hands, so I can do that cool little thing that Eddie can now do to make the blade sharper and maybe a bit more better to handle this whatever's happening.
I really want to go. You literally have an ability that lets you do that. Do you just not want to roll the dice?
Also, you have a
No.
sword.
I'm giving you chaos to say that because if the blade is dull, it won't cut me. If I give Ben the chaos for me to say I'm willingly going to let him injure me in whatever way he wants with the thing, I can then roll. I will roll for the ability. I'm saying here, I'll spend chaos to cut to get the blood on the blade.
I just want
Jago, shut up!
Picking up
Jago,
a sword.
Jago. God, shut the fuck up!
You're
Don't
against
stick with
us.
the party anymore. You're buddy with
You
Ben
don't
now.
get a say,
alright?
Jago.
Not with him. All right, we're dealing with this. You
Well, I
go
am
chill
making
with your
that-
best
I'm
friend
making
a
that-
hand.
You can chat to Ben if you want, but not us.
You're not part of this, okay? You're not part of this.
You know what? Maybe we'll
Give it-
chat to Ben. Ben, she's picking up a sword and she wants to spend chaos to cut herself?
Because it could be
What
dull, but
is this?
also, Jago, shut the fuck up. You know I'm stupid as fuck. Shut up. You don't get a say. Stop undermining what I'm saying on
Oh,
stream.
no.
It's annoying.
You're gonna die.
Sorry, I told you. I'm in Angsty Goblin.
I
Everyone's
am
getting hit from
happy
today.
to change the truth. Will generate free chaos.
That's fine. I mean, I was still going to roll for the ability. It was just to say that if the blade was dull enough, if it not to be able to cut myself, Jago, shut up! I can see you laughing. Then I want to spend chaos to get in the blade, and then I can roll for the ability.
Yeah, I will allow you to reduce the difficulty of your test by 2 to use your ability.
That would make it.
You reach out for one of the blades,
There
and
it is.
you just kind of hover over the edge of it for 1 second as you hear this incredibly loud crunch of wood hitting metal outside, and you just kind of, without really thinking, you just, as your eyes kind of track out to where the noise came from, you grab down and just pull one of the blades free, literally grabbing it by the blade and pulling it out, which just causes your hand to slide across the entirety of it and just opens a massive cut directly across your palm.
And it said it's reduced difficulty by 2, yeah?
Yeah, please tell us exactly what your ability is, as this is
So
the
it
first
says-
time we've demonstrated it.
Yes. So it turns out, Jago, you're not the only one who gets to do cool things. Fuck you. So
Go on,
basically-
explain.
Fuck off. You don't get to hear this. You're not part of the team.
We'll just say this first.
Sorry, I get angsty goblin mode. Basically, I can do this really cool thing now. Is when my, because Edlynnne doesn't have regular blood, she's got like the cool silver bloody thing.
Yes.
When it touches a bit of metal, she can manipulate the metal to better suit her needs, which is what I'm going to be doing with this lovely blade here. It won't work on like really big. It won't work on like really big things of yet because I've just got this. But
So
yes,
you're
I
like doing
can-
Full Metal Alchemist shit.
your comments are irrelevant at this point.
When are my comments relevant?
When you're not fighting against us. speak again when you're normal, Jack. So they said that's so yeah, I want to like manipulate this piece of metal to better suit the needs of fighting giant rock monster, whether that be adding piercing it, making it sharper so it's got.
Oh god, not fucking piercing.
Well, you're basically allowed. If you're successful, you can change the truth about the weapon, which I will allow you to give it an ability.
Oh, dear, fucking not piercing.
You said it was. It says on here that it is. Is it? So I've got on here that it's 42 on my sheet, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that'd be correct.
Oh, so with the tree.
So you pass instantly.
As you said.
You pass instantly, but still roll the test because you'll generate momentum off of it.
How many successes was that?
Well, I have to hit an 8, and my dice like me today, so I hit an 8 and a 7, so that's 2 passes.
Nice. So you generate 2 momentum.
You guys have
momentum.
You're not allowed to touch it.
No, I just keep
trying to momentum. I'll take your kneecaps.
No touching.
Keep your rocky fingers off it.
How much chaos do I have?
31.
What?
Fuck off. But yeah, she'll grab the blade and then she'll kind of make it without really realizing she's doing it, because I don't think she knows she can do it.
You kind of grab the blade and bring your hand across it, which leaves like this long streak of blood, and with this kind of unconscious thought in the back of your head of all of your years at the monastery of picking the weapon you need for the fight coming up, you work off of that.
So yeah, in that case, then I will kind of make the blade just a little bit longer, so it has a bit more reach. So then I'm not directly in front, and then also adding piercing to it, because then I can get a bit of damage to him as well. Because
easily done. So at this point, it will just be a standard one-handed saber. It will do 4 points of damage before you add any brawn benefits you have, and it has piercing. Just piercing.
Fuck you and your piercing.
So saber does 4 damage. Oh, basically like my old sword then. Cool, awesome. But yeah, that's my thing. She's gonna make a better sword to fight giant rock monster.
So that's your first action. You draw that free, and you can move at that point.
Start running towards the stairs to try to get Subil in. Like, here's my first
I'm only
action.
level 1 rock monster at the moment.
You immediately dart out from where you are.
I don't fucking care. I'm taking your fucking kneecaps, bitch.
Open the door,
Square kneecaps
that
are
open
mine.
as everyone else is kind of preparing themselves. Swing that open. You can see just at the base of the stairs, recoiling from the impact of what looked to be a huge piece of wood, which is now just lying on the other side. Subil kind of just picking himself up. You glance over and just see his head wrapped in fingers. Jack stood on the far end of the room.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Just first and foremost trying to get the Subil up a bit more, even if that means put myself between Subil and Jack.
Yeah, so at this point, all you can really do is just get onto the stairwell due to the distance and everything from what you've done.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
At which point,
I got sword. I can stab him with now.
It moves on. There is... Wow. There's a moment where, as you're stood there and you just glance over at Jack, trying to get an idea of what the fuck's going on. Some of the moonlight that's lying on the floor, just kind of cut from those damaged portions in the ceiling. Something moves across and just obscures it for a second. Just a second.
Just gonna keep solely focused on kind of Jack. He's kind of the main thing, and I'm very much battle ready. When I enemy at all time, but obviously still kind of keeping a few, but mainly on Jack, because
Easily done. On to either Jules or Cecily then.
I don't mind. I have a plan in mind. I don't know, Jules, if you have one.
I don't have a plan. Go for it.
Okay, so there's flintlocks in here and boxes.
Correct.
And bits of fabric, and I'm assuming gunpowder. So can I make some explosives to yeet at Jack?
Yeah.
Cool.
It'll be cobbled together at best, but it'll be an explosive.
It will be.
We are. I think we're trying
anything that makes
we were trying to blend in and be quiet.
And then,
That was before
and then
you got
hands, and
taken
then
over
you showed up with chaos.
monster.
Just very quickly, can I ask
Yep.
Jules what her brawn is, and can I also ask Ben what Lottie's brawn is, or Eli's?
Lottie, you kind of have a bit of a look of her. She's not overly bulky. She's quite thin.
Okay.
The honest answer to that is it will cost you a momentum to ask that question.
You have
that's
to.
fine.
And get an
I just want to
actual
know who's
answer.
going to be a bit better at yeeting this bomb. I'm okay at making it. I need someone to throw it.
Well, just glancing over, you can see Lottie is already just marching to the other end of the room and grabbing the large rifle
Cool.
that you noted her carrying earlier.
Cool.
Eli is just pulling himself off the top of the bunk bed, drawing a knife and just putting himself between the door and Kurt.
Okay, that's cool. Jules, what's your brawn?
10.
Okay, cool. I might need you for some yeeting duties in a bit. But
Okie
yeah,
dokie.
I'm going to try
Holy
and cobble
shit.
together some explosives.
Jules is as brawny as me.
Yeah.
God damn.
Can you make me a, let's
thought you
say,
were more.
coordination engineering?
I'm as brawny
Yes.
as
Your
fucking
focus.
brawny as
Jules
fucking
is a tough lady.
I have a focus in explosives.
I was going to say, it's going to be difficulty free to cobble together something.
That's fine. Can I buy a dice?
You can certainly buy a dice.
I can take that off if you really want to.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think someone else should control the momentum while he's evil. I don't trust him.
Yeah, I'll try.
Maybe he's planned this
Then
whole
how much
session. Maybe we
momentum do
actually
we
have 6 momentum. That's what I think.
Go for it, Lynn.
Don't think it's that deep.
I'm on it, don't worry.
One momentum.
I'm not that smart. I'm very dumb.
2 successes and a crit!
Hey!
I'm so good at making explosives.
You generate a momentum off of the back of that, and you put together a fairly rough homemade explosive. You basically just take a small pot, fill it full of gunpowder, attach the wick of a candle to the external edge of it, and just grab whatever random bits of metal you have. There's a spoon, snap that in half, fling that in. A fork, that'll do. You wrap it all in, and you've got a makeshift explosive.
Cool. I know that's kind of my action.
That's your
for this
major
turn.
action. You've still got.
Oh yeah. No, my plan was maybe. Oh no, Eddie's gonna have a turn before me. I was like gonna maybe try and explode possess Jack a bit before Eddie stabs him.
At this point, your actions happen in whichever order you guys want them to go. So it will hit the beginning of the round again, and then it will be you, them, you, them, you, all of you.
Cool.
So is there anything else you'd like to do for your minor action?
Panic.
Panic. You kind of put it together, look over at Jules, look at the window, look back at Jules.
I haven't lit it yet. I just have it.
I make bombs. I don't know how to use them.
Jules turns around, everything's going to shit, and I see Cecily with a bomb, and I'm like,
I'm going to need you to throw this because my arms are too noodly to throw things. So if I light it, can you use it? Whatever the fuck that is out there.
Right. Yes. I guess.
Yeah, I trust your aim judgment. I've seen you shoot things. You'll be fine.
But like, he's our friend.
Can I hear them say this? Because if I can hear them say this, Eddie's just gonna say, "Don't throw it at me, please. I'd quite like to live. Throw it at Jack. Could you, please?"
I guess
You'll hear rough conversation, but nothing indiscriminate. At the end of the day,
It's
your
more of
blood
a
is pumping at this
distraction
point.
/ minor damage thing. I mean, I don't think it's going to do a huge amount, but it's going to do something. And I don't think wherever Jack is, like, we'll just aim it at the other floppy guy that's going to.
If I
love how they're aiming at the other one. I'm dead ass
You
going
can't
to fight
see
Jack.
the floppy guy.
Oh, I can't see the floppy guy.
You
Okay.
never saw the floppy guy.
I
Mr.
saw the
Floppy.
guy.
Mr. Floppy, Derek. Did we see Jack punch Derek?
As fast as I can.
You saw Jack punch. No, as in you haven't seen the thing behind Jack.
Oh, okay.
The only people that have seen that are Jack and Subil.
Oh, okay.
No one else is aware it exists.
That's cool.
Has
In which
someone
case, we're
tried
just
putting
gonna.
it in the dick? Yeah, that always seems to work.
If I ran as fast as I can, would I have time to attack Jack?
Well, basically, you could attempt to throw it from here. Literally,
No. If I ran, would I be able to stab Jack?
I'm still holding this at the minute.
not not without spending an additional action off of a void point. You can get down to him, but it will take your
Right.
entire action to reach him.
Okay. I will. You pick up the revolver that I have been given from the boat, from Kurt and Max and whatever. I will run outside. Do I hear him? The other guy, not Jack.
Make me an insight observation check of 3.
Okay.
And yes, hearing will kick in.
11 and a 3, so that's 3 successes.
Nice.
Hey, you storm out into the onto the stairwell where Edlynnne is kind of almost in your way at this point. You draw your pistol, you glance down towards Jack, and as you're kind of just trying to get a level idea of the situation, you hear the sound of literally as if someone was just slapping the wall directly above you. You glance up, and just loosely illuminated in the moonlight, you can see this rapidly moving figure of multiple arms snapping out and clawing across the ceiling as a corpse just trails in after it.
Can
As
I
you see it, you need to make a will resilience check of 2.
Okay, well, resilience. Okay.
Do I see that, and do I also need to make a
That's
check?
2 passes.
You
That is a
haven't-
6 and 8, so that's fine.
Wonderful. You haven't seen it yet, Edlynnne. You hold your
I don't want to
composure as you
see it.
just see this horrible thing moving above you. You still get your action.
I'd like to shoot it, and again, I'm guessing because I shoot it, there'll be a bright light, and it will be put on display for a split second, so people will know where it is.
Not from a small revolver. It won't be
Okay.
enough to illuminate to that degree.
Would
It
it
will definitely
illuminate
illuminate you.
his? Would people know of his direction?
They would know where you roughly fired. So
Okay,
it's
that's
the same
fine.
thing. If someone was stood next to you and shot the ceiling, you'd probably look and see what the
Yeah,
fuck they're shooting
okay.
at.
That's fine.
Make a shot. It will be difficulty 2, as it's in the dark, and this therefore a bit harder
Remind me
to
what
spot.
shooting is again.
Coordination fighting.
I'm not very good with fighting.
I'm going to be nice this next turn.
Are you?
No, that's
Are
one
you really?
pass.
1 pass. You fire the shot and it just splits through the air. You see it puncture through the sheet metal that makes up the ceiling and send another spit of moonlight in. The thing stops, twists in place, and starts moving across the ceiling towards you.
Don't be me. I'll fuck it up.
Edlynnne, fairly obviously, you are aware of the gunshot next to you. You don't see a shot pass towards Jack, however.
I'm gonna guess I look up in the direction of where the gunshot was.
You will on your turn.
Cool. I'm
Cecily,
gonna kind of hold the ear,
Yep.
be like, dude.
as you're kind of in there holding your bomb, Lottie walks past you holding the rifle, glances at you and out the window. Your thoughts on him?
Kneecaps. I'd aim.
Smashes the window and just shoves the rifle out to take a shot at Jack.
Kneecap, don't kill him. I think he's still in there somewhere.
I normally, because she's an NPC, would normally start using chaos for her. I am going to allow you to treat her as an ally.
Oh,
Means
do I
that
roll?
I cannot spend chaos on her. You can elect to give her momentum.
Nah, I think it'd be better that you used your chaos.
Yeah,
Get rid
use
of
the
it.
chaos then. Come on,
Yeah.
please.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going to use enough of it. Don't
No
you
one
guys
gives a
worry.
shit.
We didn't say you. We're not talking to you.
Yeah, we weren't including you in this conversation, Jago. Shut up.
I will also allow any of you to give her void points.
The combined void point.
About to say, Max, we can do the
We
combined.
could, we could.
We could do the combined void point.
I should probably point out that her rifle does 8 damage, has piercing 2.
A question, because
No.
we are above technically,
Yeah.
Wouldn't the squelchy guy be at line sight with her?
No, because the building, the little room you're in doesn't attach to the ceiling. It's about halfway up the building.
Cool.
It is still above. Technically, it's above the room she's in.
Okay, so she wouldn't see it.
So I said getting her to aim at Jack's kneecaps would be the best option.
Pop, pop.
Do we want to do the combined void point or not?
That will make the shot a difficulty 2 shot for her.
What if we gave her the void point?
No. That's just basic. He is in range. He is visible, and yeah, she's a good shot. I say fuck it. Let's kill him.
Just take out his kneecaps.
Like, and also to be fair, the character wouldn't hold back.
No.
I'm
I
going to
can
let
fix
one of you roll
kneecaps.
for her. I'm going to let one of you roll for her.
Not it.
Her target range is 15.
Can I do it?
With a crit rating of 4.
Fuck off! You're not doing it.
I want to shoot myself.
So I don't mind doing it.
Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 dice. Crit rating is
4.
I think
She
we've
hits on a
got
15
one
or less.
I think we got one momentum as well. If you want to spend,
We got 2. Well, you have 2.
If
You
she
have 2 momentum.
If she spends any momentum, she will get to reroll 1 of her dice to attack and reroll up to 3 of her damage dice when she's dealing damage.
I think it might be worth saving momentum if we're getting her shooting the other thing rather than Jack.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, I think just 2 dice.
Wow, this shit's crazy.
Okay, so that is a 6 and a 4.
So yeah, that's 3 hits in total. So you generate 1 momentum off of it.
Okay, sweet. So we now have 3 momentum.
Look, Jago, I'm doing accounting now. You're not on our team.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
I'm doing it now.
And how many dice am I rolling?
8.
Was this really
8.
clever?
Okay.
8.
This is very clever engineering of Ben to the let's always
2
be mean to
Cthulhu
Jago.
faces.
Yeah.
Pardon?
2 Cthulhu faces for the first 4 dice.
So that's 2 piercing.
1. Yeah.
4.
3 damage and another 2 Cthulhu faces.
Okay, so that is a total of 8 piercing, 4 damage, 7 damage, and 8 piercing.
Say goodbye to those kneecaps.
Bye, Jago.
So, how much damage is that in total?
It's just the 7, as I'm fairly sure you don't have 8 armor.
I don't have 8 armor. What I do have in my first form, though, that's second. I know I need the first. Where is the bird? Armor bonuses, cast power. I have 6.
6. Well, that's ignored. You take 7 damage. She puts a shot directly through your kneecap, as that's enough to cause you an injury.
Yeah.
Right, bitch.
Your right leg buckles as the equivalent of a 50 caliber round punches through your knee. Imp goes through you, slams into the ground behind you to the point you see the steam emanate from your leg and the ground. You drop down to your other leg. You literally just drop in place, having to prop yourself up with your right arm.
Yeah.
From your perspective, Cecily, she then literally just breaches the rifle, pulls out the round, and starts to load in another one.
Holy fuck, that's an anti-tank rifle.
I'd be like, maybe not, and just go back to holding my explosive.
Her weapon does have slow loading, however, which means she will not get a shot next round. It takes her a full action to reload it.
That piercing is all good.
Yeah, piercing's a bitch.
I know, which is why I put it on my weapon.
So I can't tell if Billy's scared or if he's fallen asleep.
He's scared.
Okay.
Fuck
Maybe
piercing. All my homies hate piercing.
Billy! Maybe she's gone to sleep.
Maybe he has fallen asleep.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I will say for next time that she also does have free ammo and can salvo for vicious. Next action, as the turn revolves back around and Jack goes first.
I cast a level 2.
Oh, fuck off if you level fucking 2.
How many levels does he have?
I'm gonna
Only
shut
2.
up. I'm
only 2.
I'm basically doing my Super Saiyan transform to level 2. There you go.
Go for it, cast spell.
Can you do a Sailor Moon transform to level 2? Because that would just be a lot nicer.
I could, but, you know, fuck off.
First, please. Can you just turn first, please?
I'd love to, but I don't
No, you
exactly
wouldn't, shut
have
up.
control of that.
That's what they all say. That's what they all say.
Right. Difficulty 4. Can I spend chaos for extra dice, please?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh,
Lovely. I'm giving.
How many
I'm
do you
taking chaos away in the long
I
run.
know, but still,
I'd like 2 extra dice.
Done.
Lovely.
Fail.
No, that's successful. Fuck you. That wasn't even an issue.
How much did you succeed by?
So crit. Succeed by 1.
Brings the the chaos back up a little bit. Your mouth kind of trying to kind of close and grimace around the various portions of meat that are emanating out from you. You kind of pull yourself back, screaming this unearthly howl as your voice is just lost behind the sounds of drowning screams. You bring your back and immediately just start to arc upwards. Your leg starts to crack and break as the bones elongate and you start to just grow in height. Rapidly in front of everyone, your form splits, your clothing is torn clean from your body, and black rotten vines spring from between the stones, making up your form. And within a few moments, this excess of growth, you kind of buckle yourself over and rise at about 12 foot tall.
Lovely.
Howling as you do, swinging your arms out to literally just crash into the side of the warehouse. This roof of the building almost small enough to literally stop your growth. Just tall enough to allow you a few feet of breathing room.
I would like to pick up one of the boxes and the full box and huck it at the window I was just shot from. I didn't take too kindly to that.
You reach down, grabbing a box and just throw. Although, in fairness, it is a major action for you to cast your spell.
Oh yeah, shit. Can I spend chaos to do that? Or...
You've had your allotment.
Yeah, you already spent quite a
You've
bit.
had your fix.
Void point?
Let us have a chance.
No, Jago.
Void... Can I...
Sit in the corner.
Why do you think Uwu is going to work on Ben? It's not.
It's not going to work. It's going to make you want to kill you even faster.
Because they're my
no.
void points and I can do them as I want.
Please remember to roll your damage as well, by the way.
Oh, yes. That's probably gonna... That is an awful lot of blanks.
I call bullshit. I think he's like fully on
That
that.
is no effect.
No, he's
die.
just there. He's like, oh, that's an awful lot of blanks. Let me just turn it over to Cthulhu head. That will make it a lot better.
No, that's damage on me. That's the damage I take from cat.
Oh, I
casting
see,
the
I see,
spell.
Yeah, this is why I'm calling bullshit. He's actually rolled like a shit ton of Cthulhu hairs and just telling us it's blanks.
I've only done. I mean, I can show you. I've got them all
How
lined
did you
up.
do?
It's okay.
but, only 2 damage. 2 damage.
2 damage,
which is eaten by my armor.
Remember, it's courage.
Then it's also eaten by my courage.
Absolutely fine. Just double checking. Right. You kind of grow to the fullness of your height. For some of you, this is the first time you've ever seen Jack do that. Literally going from the same height as always, 6 foot or so, to doubling in mass, screaming with every moment of action, of every moment of growth. Of his entire body was being torn apart and put back together with the action. Within a moment, he stood as tall as possible, his form kind of illuminated just in the portions of moonlight cutting through the ceiling. You still have a minor action.
have an urge to do something chaotic. I'm not going to do it, but I've got an urge to do something really chaotic.
What's it going to be?
Can I... Is there a pile of boxes, or are they all just sort of ones, just all sort of spread out a bit?
They're kind of everywhere.
Okay, so I'm imagining this. I'm standing straight on to the window, correct?
Yeah.
I'm going to move to the far side and try and push myself against. So I'm imagining it's just a long rectangle raised room up to the side, right?
Yeah, correct.
I'm going to go to the opposite side of the stairs.
So put some distance between you,
Yeah, I'm just gonna. So shooter's here. I'm going to move here. Stairs going down here. I'm just gonna move to there.
Okay, you kind of step to the side out of the way of the shooter.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I'm going
fine.
to push myself up against that wall.
Easily done. In which case, it comes back to everyone else. Whomever would like to go first goes first.
All right, can I go?
Go for it.
Can I make another shot at the person? How much momentum have we got at the moment?
3.
Okay. I'm going to try and shoot the person,
what you think,
the squelchy guy.
Yeah.
And if I do, can I use 2 momentum to knock him prone?
Yes.
Which means he would fall?
He would.
Okay.
Difficulty 2. Fire away.
Okay. How much do I need? It's coordination fighting.
Coordinated fighting, yeah.
My next level up, I might add to fighting. I haven't got any.
Awful presumptuous.
That's 2 passes. That's a 10 and a 9.
Nice.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. Roll your damage first and foremost.
It's a pistol. You didn't give me the stats for it.
3 plus your insight modifier. So how high's your insight?
Insight is 10, so plus 2, so
Correct.
5 overall.
Go for it.
That's 3 plus Cthulhu face.
Won't be anything at this point, bar just a point of damage. So that's 4 damage in total. You fire the shot and it impacts into just a portion of the mass. You see it rip through an arm, one just as it's about to grab onto a portion of the ceiling, and that's enough to cause it to just completely cock up its movement. Reaching out, it overbalances. You shear the hand off at the wrist, and it tumbles forward through the air, immediately dropping and slamming into the roof of the building. I'm going to spend 2 chaos.
No, you're not.
And it doesn't just hit the building, it goes through the roof.
Well, we wanted to find a way we needed a distraction for the Inquisition.
Yeah, I was going to say this is a good distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From your position,
We're all here.
with your back to the door, you twist in place as this thing detaches, hits the ceiling of the room that you were in, and goes through it into the room itself, crashing to the floor in this horrendous mass of limbs. You kind of glance back at it. Edlynnne, at this point, it's impossible to not hear that. You glance back as well. As the same for Eli, Lottie, and Cecily. First and foremost, it takes another 4 points of damage from the fall. I will literally just double what you did.
Cool.
And you all just stand there and watch as this pile of twisted, broken limbs lands into the center of the room in front of you. Eli just steps back, putting as much distance between him and it as physically possible, holding this knife out in front of him.
I want to do the dark
him and Kurt.
Of just going
Lottie
over and being like...
rapidly tries to shove another round into the chamber. And Cecily, obviously, you're still stood there holding a bomb.
Yeah, I'm not throwing it in this, people will get injured. I'm going to try and make for the door that Eddie has gone out of, try and maybe swap places with Lottie so she can shoot the thing.
And as it lands, it just starts, the limbs that were currently just inert, holding there, snap.
Because it's taking
out.
8 damage a turn, would it not take an injury?
Because there's 2 lots of 4 damage. So what I've done is 4 and 4.
Right. Okay.
So it has to be from the same source.
Okay.
So it's taken a beating, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But not enough to deal an injury.
Just want to call it a fucker and stab it in the eye, but I can't do that.
Its limbs just kind of crawl out, slapping into the ground and starting to slowly raise its form up. And you all just kind of watch this twisted amalgamation of flesh, body parts extending out from the tattered and torn remains of the man you saw at the docks. His eyes torn open now, the skin there stretched to its absolute maximum, as if worn like a suit that was too small. Long stretch marks run along the face. Water still just drips limply from it. And as the body is raised, teeth-like nails just keep flapping the lips in this... And the words just twist and change, and you can hear a second voice just eking out from beneath. Who's gonna be my year? Let's go. Just got my shit.
I don't appreciate that, Ben.
It was gonna be my year. I had so much to live for. As the body just rises up, I need everyone.
We all thought that.
Not already done a will resilience check to do one.
Can I make an argument to say mine might be a difficulty 1 instead because of all the time she's died and seen this thing in her dream state?
I'm happy for you to argue that.
Thank you.
We'll roll for Lottie, who massively fails.
Oh,
Got 1 success.
Gonna suck for Lottie.
Eli fails.
I pass.
Is Kurt just merrily sleeping through all of this?
Kurt is off his tits on morphine.
That's true. I have to give myself some morphine.
Wait,
At least someone's having a good
Kurt's
time.
awake. Yeah, if Kurt's awake, he's going to think this is just a fever dream. I pass. I'm literally going to look at it and like,
Cecily?
man.
I got 1 success, but also because I can't throw the explosive in here, can I throw the frog's anus at it and just see what happens?
The hand's mortal weakness.
First and
that.
foremost, nothing, 2, 4,
No, stop at 2.
6.
Stop at 2.
Take 6 mental damage,
Oh, for fuck's
6 mental stress,
sake.
with piercing 2, so ignore 2 points of armor.
Okay.
Lottie just steps back and slams into the wall. And you can just hear her kind of, no, that can't be real. That can't be real. And Eli just stands there, mouth agape, knife quivering in his hands, completely unable to move as the thing just spreads out, slowly cackling. And it just kind of twists in place, and you see its arms rummaging in the stomach of the puppet beneath it, as if collecting things. You do still have minor action, however, Jules.
What can I do in a minor action?
You can move, you can aim, you can do many things, he says, trying to remember them all off the top of his head. Mostly move, aim, prepare, grab something.
What do you mean you don't have a song and dance number prepared to explain everything to the catchy
I have a
little
lot
ditty?
to remember, Jago.
I will
This is so fun.
get
Fun
my
afterwards.
knife out and stand in front of who looks the most scared.
That you'd say the most scared? Well, Cecily hasn't. It's up to Lynn how Cecily is reacting to the many points of stress she just took. Which I do need to ask: was that enough for you to take an injury?
Yes. I was hoping you wouldn't ask, but yes, I do have an injury.
A look of absolute panic.
I'll stand in front of Lynn with a knife.
Thank you. I'm going to try and do my reassuring thing on myself, potentially, to try and calm myself down. Because I've been exposed to the hands before, just not at this close range.
You're going to pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, no, I'll pat myself. I haven't done a job well done, but like...
At which point, in that case, you rush over, put Lynn behind you, or Christian, put Cecily behind you. Edlynnne, at this point, you kind of twist back, now having the difference of threat between what's in that room and the enormous form of Jack looming across in the darkness to just kind of get behind the building, or get behind that room as well. Mm-hmm. You kind of glance in, and inside, as it takes its action, its arms, it's the center of its mass, still twisted in your direction. The eyes of the corpse, if you can call them that, as the fingers just slowly twitch and wriggle within the sockets, literally caressing the flesh and slowly reforming it, bringing the features up. And you see the massive movement in the stomach rolling up as more hands just are birthed out of the mouth, gripping skin in place. And it slowly just pushes out a pair of hands and just peels open a single face. Along the moment it kind of pulls it out, you see small desiccated lumps of ginger fur around across the mouth and chin, as it just presents you with Gingerbeard's the skin of his face.
Literally, I just literally want to look at the monsters, be like, okay, come on, you've absolutely, literally, like, she's gonna just say it's really like breezy, like seeing this doesn't affect her for some strange reason. It's like she might have seen this before, like 10 minutes ago when she died. Who knows? She's gonna be like, like, rather than the thing.
You
like,
cut out
that
massively there.
Yeah.
That's so annoying. How is that? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, back online.
Amazing speech. And my internet was like, nope.
No.
Basically, it was just like, it basically like, instead of looking scared like everybody else, she honestly just looks annoyed. You know, like when you really piss off a teacher and they give you that look of the like complete and utter disappointment. That's basically what Edlynn's giving to this monster. It's being like, couldn't give us a day at least. Like literally saying that as well, going like, well, on the sword, ready to attack it.
You draw the blade and you give it the look, and as I say, it just kind of holds the face there and just brings it back, placing it over the features of the other person. And again, these choked words emanate out. You won't get to them, in Ginger's voice. They're better than you. Your Inquisition are all the same, putting a boot down on people. Always claiming to be better than... And you just see driplets of blood start to pour out from the mouth and just drop onto the floor in front of you.
Jules. Join him. It's safer. You can be at peace.
The way I see it is going with you is a pretty shitty idea. And no offense, you've had like 2 times to try to get me to join you now, and still here. So I'm just gonna. Can I go to attack him?
It's still its turn.
I'm gonna go to
It
attack.
hasn't
I was gonna
actually
say
done
Saushert.
anything yet. It's
I'm
just making
like ready. Like
faces.
Edlynnne.
I'm talking.
Edlynn's whole
Yeah.
thing is she's trying to distract it away from everybody else, and if and when it attack, try to attack him, like her kind of thing.
Well, it's funny you say that. I need one person in that room to make an insight observation check for me.
Oh, I'm not gonna do it. I'm
Mine-
gonna be this thing trying to distract it.
Okay, mine's 9.
Jules?
I mean, I guess I would be looking if it was Gingerbeard, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Go for it.
That's 2 passes.
Wonderful. As you're kind of focusing on on the movement of the face, and Edlynn's sheer determination to cut through every word it says, you become aware that it's directly keeping your attention on the face as the arms reach back, and somehow muffled by its own voices, you fail to hear Eli's screams.
Oh, it's
As it raises up, and you can see the limbs behind it have grabbed Eli and just slammed him into the floor, dragging him across. And as he grabs him by the head, brings him up to face each of you, you can see its arms have locked around Eli's, gripping his hand with the knife just sat at the end. And you can just hear the last whispers. Come with me. Be at peace. As Eli closes his eyes, tears welling around the exterior. The hand pulled and dragged across his own throat, the blade slicing through the tendons of his neck in a burst of crimson. His eyes wide as a cackle builds up from the throat of the thing. And that is where we will end for this week. Eli, unfortunately, could only take 1 injury.
You know, when I sent you that private message, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Cecily's really happy. She's going to have like 2 brothers now." Well, fuck you.
You only get 1 if you're lucky.
Just for one session, Ben. One session.
did. That was last week.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
But Kurt was dying. No, that was stressful for Cecily last week.
Yeah, that was stressful anyway. I suggest we just kill off Jago's character, honestly.
And we kill off Ben.
Unfortunately, at that point, is where we will pick up again next week. The colour draining from Eli's face.
Don't rub it in.
I'm going to award everyone 5 XP.
Hell yeah.
Apart
I feel
from
I
Jago,
should
don't-
say everyone but Jago, but
Please say that. Please, no, please do it, please.
You put me
Give me
up to this.
No, I didn't. Fuck off.
This
I
is
have
not
to-
Ben. Blame
I
Ben.
have to wait till we're rested before I can level something up, right?
Yeah.
I will allow, as a moment of sheer hatred, you to all spend 1 level up at this moment if you have it.
Apart from Jago. Cool.
I'm gonna take my observation up another level.
What's the max you can do a skill? Is it 5?
Correct.
And then I'm maxing out fight into 5 because it's already at 4.
Wait, do we need 10 to level up? 10 XP. Oh, I
Yeah.
can level up 2 things.
Only the 1 at this moment.
That's fine. I will save it for next time. For some reason, I thought it was 20. I've been sat on that for ages.
I'll have to think of. I'll have to think about this. I'll have to. I'll have to have a ponder.
A good old ponder.
Yes. God, that face of hatred on Holly.
Yeah,
I don't know whether to
I'm
be-
definitely taking you on Tuesday. You know what? I'm glad I killed off your character last night. I'm rude now. I'm so glad.
Maybe this wouldn't have happened if you didn't kill him off, you bitch.
No, it would have happened. And let's be honest, it would have happened.
Yeah, it would have happened.
It would have happened. I just now feel better in myself than what I did last night. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I don't know if I want to be really, really angry or like cry. Oh.
Bit of both.
Yeah, but yeah, angry crying.
Yeah.
We'll find out next time on what the next step is. As once again, thank you everyone for viewing. Thank you for the players for bearing with me. And for this. As we run through one more time, Jago, who are you?
I am the imposter among us. I was sitting on that joke for ages.
I hate you so much.
Sussy backer.
Yeah, you know it. I'm so sus. Yeah. You know what? No, that's all I got. I only got the imposter joke. There you go. I'm Jago Ash. Have fun.
Oh, thank you very much, Jago Ash. Have fun. Lynn?
Hi, I am Lynn. I play Cecily. I'm also known as Pontu for Pan here on Twitch. I am a streamer as well. I stream art, which is far more relaxed and chill and easy going. So if you want to spend
I hope so.
your afternoon with some chill tunes, cup of tea, some nice art, I've just put my link into chat. You can find me there.
Thank you very much. And we picked Max first last time. Let's say Billy.
Hi everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Billy.
And you've made me cry.
I played Subil. I think also known as Almost Dead. Also known as Fax. Yeah, I'll be here next week, or I might not be. Who knows? I mean, there might be another box on my way or a giant.
Oh no, you'll be here
crater,
next week.
you know.
I got more target practice.
Oh wow.
Jago, you can fuck right
You
off.
think Holly, you got him in the other game. Do you think you're safe in this game, Jago? You think all I can do is talk? You just haven't pushed me. So yeah,
You're on one.
I'm gonna poison all of your fucking wine gums. I swear down.
Oh, you're on one stress. I don't know how much further I can push you.
I'm on 2. Oh, I'll spend a whole one fucking you over.
Max?
I'm Max. You might find me on Instagram at YallopMax.
Might.
50-50.
And finally, Holly.
Oh no. Hi, I'm Holly. Sorry, there was a massive. It sounded like there were dogs climbing outside, but it's just a bunch of cats. Can you shut up, please?
Jump scaring you.
Honestly, it sounds like what I imagined the hand monster to sound like. So thank you for that. I'm not sleeping. But yeah, I'm Holly, and I play Edlynnne. People are probably going to die next week. My predictions are Jack, and even more Jack. If I don't kill Jago in the days before the session, because
You forgot Subil.
Oh,
but
you
apart
didn't.
from that, I do music, and I actually have lyrics in a book here that I've written that are somewhat good. So maybe I'll release that soon. Keep an eye out on my socials at Healey, because I don't use my Twitter. I say that I do. You don't need to know about my Twitter.
And sadly for everyone, I have once again been Ben. You can find me anywhere and everywhere on Try Again Ben, as I intend to do next week, and try and expand the body count. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors once again, and thank you to the Initiative Order. We will see you next time. Good night.